Well, this will put it in perspective, won't it?
It really does. Yeah,
Really nice. Thank you. It's TMA 101 ESPN, and you can watch the program on the TMA STL YouTube channel. Chairman, you were tending to that during the commercial break, and it is up.
It is up.
Great job.
That's right.
Time was of the essence, so I was rushing a little bit. I thought I got it, but I wasn't sure, so I'm sure they're going to text in and let me know. So
the people can go to youtube.com/TMASTL and talk it over. Michelob Ultra is the sponsor of the YouTube chat. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbohydrates. And the program is presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Doug, in a stunning development, I mean, it was paying 15-1. You went with the Oklahoma City Thunder as the lead. I mean, from my standpoint, there's three other topics to go to, Martin, in this Sadie Hawkins for the ages. Cardinals take 2 of 3 and win yet another series, this time against the Cincinnati Reds, and are 4.5 back as the Cubs come to town for a 4-game series. You have the Plowhawks wedding, which you officiated, and you had Tommy Fleet trying to win for the first time on the PGA Tour and folding up shop under pressure on number 18. Keegan Bradley, your Ryder Cup captain, has he played his way onto the roster and being a playing captain? Those are your choices for this morning's Sadie Hawkins on the Stiefel Dossier.
We're giving you another crack at it, Doug.
Home slice with the dice. What?
Well, I guess since Plowsy weighed in, maybe we should get to his wedding.
Thank you. That's
the
what
Cardinals are at least number 3.
Well, it was a boring game yesterday.
You got to go to the
You
Saturday.
were there.
I was.
Hold on. What? That might be the lead. It was 140 out, and you went to a Cardinal game.
141. Had nothing to do, sitting around at home. My son said, let's go to the Cardinal game. I said, really? Really? I said, yeah, let's go. I said, okay. So we got online, got some tickets.
Would you pay?
20 apiece.
You said that with a straight face.
Yeah, and did you see that story about the stolen car that was driving through downtown after the game that almost hit us?
Are you kidding me?
Well, I say almost. We missed it by 10, 15 seconds or so. We were walking back to the car after the game, crossed the street right there at, Taco Bell, and where that is, a little south of
Broadway
White Castle.
Bar, kind of that way.
Crossed with the light, and there were no cars coming as we started to cross. By the time we got to the sidewalk, this white Challenger roared past about 90 miles an hour to the point where everyone else was, couldn't believe what they were watching. Some of the cars stopped there for the light. And then then we saw police cars driving all over the place. And then I read this morning that it caused 2 accidents with 4 people injured. And the police chief himself had his gun drawn to try to stop the guy. And what a mess.
This was pregame or postgame?
After the game.
So you're walking in your car. Wow.
And this stolen car got stuck, I guess, in Busch Stadium traffic. And it's one of the ways they got him.
Wow. God, I think that's the lead, Doug.
Well, it didn't almost hit us.
Well,
but right as we crossed the street, he came roaring by.
That's pretty spooky.
Yeah.
Wreck me, Doug.
Well, he almost wrecked us. And everyone else.
Jackson was the car thief?
I don't think it was Jackson. I couldn't tell who it was.
Hey, Doug, did you go topless at the game in those conditions? That's from Eric in the Central West End.
Probably should have, but didn't.
How many fans would you say were actually estimated in the ballpark?
I'd say, I saw the paid was 27,000. I'd say half that, maybe.
Yeah.
About half that.
Did you just find shade the whole time? I saw the bleachers were largely empty, and I don't blame anyone.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you imagine just cooking out there?
Yeah, and it was a boring game. The Cardinals were doing nothing with the bats. So
you got to go on Saturday. Saturday always like the fun game, and then Sunday's a dud.
That's true. Saturday was another great game.
Yeah.
Great comebacks. I think they've lost their last 4 Sunday games. They've lost, not Doug, I'm sorry, but on their series finales, they've lost 5 of the last 6. They don't close them out.
It's because they're just happy with the series win, I guess. No one's told them the most important game is the next one.
What an endorsement for Cardinal games. I was sitting around, and I decided, fine, we'll go. That's from Mahomes' long body.
Well, that's what it was. I didn't have anything else to do, so I'll go to a Cardinal game.
Huh?
Yeah. It wasn't that bad. I've sat through worse games as far as the heat goes. It wasn't that bad.
The old Bush, it holds the heat well.
I told you when my dad was in World War II, part of the time he was in North Africa, and when it was really hot, and they would actually give them lessons on telling themselves that it wasn't that hot. They would tell their minds, it's not that hot. I'm just making myself miserable by thinking that. He said they gave all the troops the same training. And I keep thinking anytime I'm in a situation like that, if you can do that, if you can actually tell yourself you're not as miserable as you want to be, it does help. It actually helps.
That's good advice for the texters.
Yeah, you can easily talk yourself into being miserable. But if you talk yourself into not being miserable and being okay, it helps.
Wow.
It doesn't solve it all, but it helps.
So is that what you were doing yesterday?
That's what I told myself. I said, I'm not that hot. I'm not. I'm in a baseball game. I got the sunblock on. I'm not that hot.
Sounds like you're having a panic attack.
I get tattoos of Carlos Martinez on my mama.
Busch 2 with the AstroTurf was way hotter than the current Busch Stadium.
I think so, too, probably. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it wasn't real pleasant. It was warm, but it wasn't by far the worst that I've sat through out there.
That guy should have stolen the car in the 5th inning and left early to beat the traffic like all of his St. Charles brethren. That's from Doug's prison wallet.
I don't know where he stole the car from, but, boy, he was going every bit of 90 miles an hour down 4th Street.
Guys, I talked myself into believing that this is a good show. That's from a Newt Bowl eligible.
You can do that, too.
Yeah.
You can do
Mind control. Great segment, guys. And then don't really believe it. Just speak it into possibility.
Yeah. You can tell yourself this show is actually better than it is.
But deep down, we all know the
Deep down,
truth.
we know it's not that good, really.
Cards only 4.5 back. If I told you in February,
Hell yeah.
you're sitting here about to have a 4-game showdown, would you take it?
Hell yeah.
You're 6 over. You're 4.5 back. You're 9 over at home. Run differential similar to the Brewers. No. Ready for it? Yeah, let's see it. Ben Brown tonight's starter for the Cubs. The Cardinals have never faced. Don't know what to make of that.
Well, it's usually not a good thing.
Usually not, but they did it to the Chicago guy last week. They teed up.
Yeah.
You never know. Doug, you never know.
Well,
That's why
I'll
you
tell
should
you
go
what.
back again tonight.
Yeah.
Are you going back tonight?
I'm not going back tonight.
Why not?
I was too hot yesterday.
Despite your mind games?
Yes.
Yeah, if you would have told me, as the Cardinals are just 3 games shy of the halfway point of the season, that they would be 6 games over 500 and 4.5 back of the first place Cubs and a game back the second place Brewers, and that's only because Milwaukee's gone on a heater here as of late, I would have taken that all day long. Gives you a sweat, metaphorically speaking, gives you something to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. And you get the 4-game series with the Cubs. I'll take that. I would have taken that any day of the week.
I'm hoping tonight people do show up in spite of the heat, because otherwise, in better conditions, it's the perfect time to have that litmus test. We have a lot of Cub fans that'll go to the game, people that bought tickets probably back in the wintertime. But it would be a fun night to see the building full. I just think the heat will limit that.
Probably, yeah, maybe a little bit. They may have had a better fate yesterday if not for some outstanding defensive plays the Reds made. I think they made 4 or 5 diving catches all over the field. Donovan and Burleson, between the two of them, were 0 for 8, and I think they hit the ball hard 7 of those 8 at-bats.
Brendan Donnie, that boy is scrappy.
He is scrappy. But the Reds kind of beat him with their gloves yesterday.
So Burleson going into the game yesterday, his June average, Doug, what do you think it was? His June average?
Oh, he was on fire. I'd say 325.
391.
Oh, gosh.
Going into yesterday's game.
Yeah, he just looks like he's going to hit the ball hard right now when he's up there, and he has been most of the time. But hit into bad luck. So
Doug, you like fun with numbers?
I do like fun with numbers.
Busch Stadium 3, Cardinal pitcher who's made the most starts in that building.
Adam Wainwright.
Yes. Who's number 2?
Can I guess?
Yes.
Miles Mikolas.
You were there to see it, Doug. Miles Mikolas
that's right.
now is isn't that a little bit hard? He passed Lance Lynn. And I don't know if I would have ever guessed that, but Mikolas this is his 8th year. Missed some time, I know, but Wainwright 214 Busch Stadium starts. Mikolas now at 91.
To me, Miles Mikolas kind of looks like the sheriff in a Western movie who's coming to clean up the town.
Yes, it's the stash.
He's going to maybe get in a few saloon fights and a couple of gun battles, but he's going to clean up this town.
He said this regarding the Cubs series. Yeah, these are the fun games. You know, those rivalry games. I'm sure there'll be a lot of blue up there in the seats, but hopefully there's more red. I know it's a midweek series. I hope the turnout is good. Hope people are here. Come to the game. Boo the Cubs. You know, get in their head. Give us a home field advantage. Let us take our shot here and give them hell, and let's see if we can make a little move right here. That's Miles Mikolas following his start yesterday.
He's right. Let's give him a little hell, Doug.
Right. That Thursday afternoon game could be a little toasty.
Yeah. But not if you tell yourself.
Deal with that. No, you can tell yourself it's not that hot.
Does that reduce the probability of infidelity?
It probably does.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you.
Maybe a lot of sweating going on. Do they say that at the soccer games? Do they chant that?
You'd have to ask somebody that's gone.
Oh, gosh.
That sounds like a soccer chant, but I can't say that I've heard that specifically.
They scored a goal yet this season?
Yes. 3 in their last game.
Oh.
Got a home game Wednesday night. Cards playing, City playing, all happening at once.
Cardinals and Cubs will wrap that series up at 1:15 on Thursday, Doug, for the record. The high on Thursday is expected to be 93 degrees. High today, 94, and game time temperature is 91 degrees for tonight's festivities with the Cubs as they begin a 4-game series against Chicago here in St. Louis. First time seeing the Cubs this year. Design Air will take care of you if you're running into air conditioning issues, man, and if you are, that's got to be rough right now. Design Air is online at designairservice.com. Doug's a client, Martin's a client, I'm a client. Why don't you become a client as well? If you're having any air conditioning issues, just go to designairservice.com and work with Seth Goldcamp, the longest running sponsor on TMA. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. That's all you need to do, and they will get out there ASAP to take care of your air conditioning. If you are having air conditioning issues right now, go to designairservice.com. They'll take great care of you. No upselling. That's why we are clients, and that is why they are the longest running sponsor on TMA. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, sponsor of our email today, and you can email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. You get involved in the program also by texting in 314-399-9646. You can also watch the program. The YouTube is up now at youtube.com/TMASTL. The YouTube chat brought to you by Michelob Ultra. The program's called The Morning After, and it's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
This is Chairman Kurt with another SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the Oklahoma City Thunder take down the Indiana Pacers 103-91 for their first NBA championship in franchise history. SGA had 29 points. That was another SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See him at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
This is really odd.
Martin, I'm going to try to go even higher on the odd scale here with this text from Steven Time that just came into the Air Comfort Service text inbox, 314-399-9646. Carrying a baby for 9 months and then naming it Chet is insane. That's from Steven Time.
Oh, gosh.
We were just talking about that.
It's probably Chester, right?
I would gather. Mm-hmm. Just like Margaret is Peggy.
Right.
Chet Lemon was a fine player.
Yeah, Tigers, 84 Tigers, world
and then
champion.
White Sox and Tigers, I think. Chet Lemon. Kind of underrated. Just recently passed.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Where Chet was he the big brother in Weird Science that was always picking on Anthony Michael Hall?
I think you might be right about that.
Oh, by the way, The Outsiders featured Tom Cruise, Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, Matt Dillon, C. Thomas Howell, and Ralph Macchio. Since we were referencing that. 30 minutes ago, Doug.
Yeah, it's nice to get that out there.
Wanted me to clean
you
that
can
up.
listen to the program on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL apps. Those are brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. And you can watch the program at youtube.com/TMASTL. Space Twins says, I usually have to podcast later in the day. This is my first time on the YouTube chat. Anyone want to flirt? That's from Space Twins. So if you want to go in there and flirt with Space Twins, she is looking to flirt.
And you say she.
What else?
Okay. They're all guys in there, Tim.
Yeah.
They're all gentlemen.
Ladies love this show.
I don't know.
Ladies call in.
Yeah, why not? 314-974-010. And at the Plowhawks wedding on Saturday evening, which Martin Doug officiated and truly did do a wonderful job for real. I know you're uncomfortable with the compliments, but for real, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
It was outstanding. It was
There's a lot of
entertaining.
pressure to do that because, so many girls dream about this perfect wedding their whole life, and they put so much planning into it, and so much money is involved. People are in from out of town. You don't want to blow it. You don't want to do something that upsets somebody.
Did you play the mind game before and tell yourself, I am good at this. I can do this.
I should have. No, I was still doing the heat thing.
Okay. It was not outside, was it?
Yes, it was.
It was outside.
Oh, the ceremony was outside?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
6 p.m., balls in the air on Saturday.
But
it was
most
a
of
great
it-
place, though. Like
Yeah.
most of the
Seating section.
Yes, where we
Yeah.
were seated was in the shade, which was great. This place right by Brown and Krupin's offices, matter of fact. It was outstanding.
Was it the Piazza? No?
La Veranda on the marketplace.
That's right,
Was the
that's
name of the
right.
name
Oh,
of it.
right by Regazzi's.
Yes.
But we were, Doug and his wife and me and my wife, we were BSing after the wedding and having some libations. And it was your wife, Doug, who said, hey, I think this lady's trying to talk to you. And she had come up to you and start saying, when you guys first went over to 101, I didn't know what was going on, but now I can't stop listening to the show. I don't really understand why. He said, it's a lot of empty calories. I would agree with that assessment. And she thought I was Jackson.
Oh, she did?
We get confused often.
Oh, yeah.
I look 27.
How often? Did she say, hey, what's up, Papers?
So no Jackson's up at Sweet Sweet Kai's wedding.
Was that a
The Cape.
compliment?
You know, anytime anybody thinks I'm 6'1", I'll take it. You know, and it's not like I've got George Hamilton's skin either. You know, but yeah, the Plowhawks wedding. I thought that the vows which they had written that was like the highlight, because the Plowhawk did what any TMA person would do, which is just walk in and ad-lib. It was great. And then his now wife, Madison, I thought those were just, I really did. I don't really usually get, you know, not that I was worked up, but I just was like, man, that was really, because the whole wedding was truly those two personalities, you know, that was their signature was on that wedding.
Yeah. It was emotional for them when they were giving the vows. You could tell they are just thoroughly in love with each other. Just every time they're around.
And they've been together, Martin, for close to a decade. They've been together 8.5 years. And when he met her, you know, Plowboy, for those of you not familiar, and I know it's a good portion of the audience.
If you think Tim is Jackson, this is for you.
That's exactly right. Nicely done. Was on TMA for probably close to a decade. And somebody all of us who worked with him loved, and an incredibly amusing guy, a Takesmith. And he got married over the weekend, and Doug officiated the wedding. And I would say, what were about 70, 80 people at the wedding?
About that, yeah. I've been booked to do a funeral, a baptism, and 2 bar mitzvahs.
Really? So this is now a little independent contractor
this
work.
Preaching thing might have some legs.
Did my bet on the maid of honor speech hit? Did either of you happen to catch that? The "for those of you who don't know me" line?
Oh, I don't
think I heard
know
that.
that she said that.
Damn.
And
I don't
Kurt,
know.
your wedding sober, you decided to sit this out. That was your gift.
That was my gift to the Plowsy, gift to myself. I enjoy a good wedding, but man, I'm a sweater as it is, and I would have needed a wardrobe change or 3 during that thing.
One thing that I noticed about Plowsy and Madison they're both extremely comfortable in their own skin. They're full of confidence. Nothing flusters them. They're up for anything and anybody. They're very friendly and outgoing to everyone that they meet. They're both just really, I keep saying that, they're both just comfortable being who they are.
Amen.
Kind of like that.
There's the Plowhawk right there.
You know, for them, there's never an awkward situation or what are they going to say or how are they going to treat somebody. They're both just really good. They have wonderful personalities, and I was very happy that they're
Plowsy's
happy with each
laugh makes me laugh. When I hear that, it makes me
Long live the Plowhawk. That's from Kwame Voyukas IV. Let's see. Good morning to, oh, wow. And also married at the very same time. Sweet, Sweet Kai has just issued a statement fresh off of Prima Nocta. Martin.
Okay.
Good morning, Tim. This past weekend was the best of my life. The only thing missing was ... you ... Wow. Doug, fresh off his wedding, Sweet, Sweet Kai, texting in to the Air Comfort Service text inbox.
He's probably been on the honeymoon by now and still took some time out to text that in.
I wouldn't mind, Sweet Sweet Kai, if you could give us just sort of a Jackie Papers recount. How did he do?
How many boat drinks till he was on the dance floor?
Yeah, Jackie Papers, it doesn't take much to get him a little sauced up.
Kai, I got my eye on the phone. Call in.
Yeah,
wow.
call in and
Call
share,
in,
fresh
okay,
off the
all right.
wedding. That love will fade, unfortunately. That's from Chairman Steve in Wildwood,
Nice
giving his
sentiment.
assessment after being married for I don't know how long, but I think 25, 30 years. Chairman Steve in Wildwood with his thoughts.
Is Mrs. Steve listening?
I don't think so. It doesn't strike
Well, Chairman
me.
Steve and I are in talks, Tim. You coordinated over the weekend.
Yes.
I'm going to do sports live.
You really are going to do it from his balcony.
On Wednesday night at 10:30 during our sports finals show. Unless the game runs long, if it all times out, get some interviews, and then make it over there in time. Going to do the show from the balcony, and then I thought maybe we should even throw Chairman Steve on and explain the megaphone story. And then Tim and I were texting. I said maybe under his name. We put Chairman Steve, and then under says Listener
TMA
of the
Listener of the Year 2023.
And as if it's his credential, Finals MVP, 11-time All-Star. Under Chairman Steve, it's just going to say Listener of the Year. And then he said, can you bring Miles with you? And I said,
Oh, sure.
I'll ask. He might do it. He's not pitching.
Chairman Steve says he might be passed out when you come by.
Well, that would be even better. You can get a few shots of that. One of the best things about working at Channel 4 was it was just like 2 blocks away from Busch Stadium, and we never had to worry about parking. How do you deal with parking when you go down there every night?
Yeah, it's bad. There's street parking. There is nothing of it. We used to have a spot in the stadium lot.
Right.
Each station had a spot. That went away with COVID.
Oh, really? You can't ever park down there?
Not inside. Where we used to, it was sort of crazy. When they built the stadium, every TV station in town paid a certain price to have a portal where you could plug in your microwave trucks and you could go live on the field, and it made it easier. So they thought ahead to have all the wiring done, which now doesn't matter because of the live thing. But you got a parking spot because of that. It was sort of weird driving back there. You'd be passing like Bentleys and Rolls Royce and whatnot.
Guys having their cars detailed.
Yes. And then you'd always see, like, at the very end, like a used Camry. And then you'd get the game notes. So-and-so was just called up today from Memphis. And you always knew who the new guy was. But, yeah, we don't get to do that anymore.
So now you just scramble like everyone else?
It's a bit of a crapshoot.
And pay $30 or $40 to park every time?
No.
I like logistics. I like to know these things.
Well, I might have a little arrangement. The good folks at Patios. So maybe. Shout out to Patios. There's a great parking lot, the Lime parking lot across the street. What do you guys call that? Yola? And you might even notice, Doug, every once in a while I'll just do a live shot from Patios.
Oh,
I'm not saying that out loud. I'm not.
Unrelated?
I would. Unrelated. Just checking in with the people. Now they're going to think Steve is Yola.
Yeah.
Yola.
No one, and I mean no one, cares about a groundskeeping nomad's nuptials where Jackson didn't even make the cut for a non-existent wedding party at a destination wedding so everyone close to them could drop a few grand for no reason. That's from Carlos Spicy Wiener, who does not want to hear from Sweet Sweet Kai less than 48 hours after he was married and unfortunately was on the receiving end of prima nocte. Here we go again with the where's parking. Donnybrook his ass. It's like Andy Rooney's in that body and running around here. That's from Arbor Day, who's won Texter of the Year each of the last 2 years.
I enjoy a good logistics conversation.
Well, Martin revealed the logistics.
I was debating whether to admit it on the air, but then Doug persisted.
I think at times it might even have something to do with what gets covered and what doesn't. Just the fact that it's so hard to get there and park and not pay $40 to do your job and then get back in time. It's a factor.
It's the Blues. It's a similar situation for the TV media. There's nowhere to park, so you just sort of wing it. There's that street over there. Is that Pine, Doug, maybe, where they have a giant bike lane for all the cyclists in downtown?
If you have to pay, the station will pay you back, though, right?
Yeah, if you ever get ticketed, you just throw it on the old newsroom person's desk. Oh, sorry, I got nicked.
Hunchback of On Castle's not happy with Chairman Kurt saying that the drops aren't playing on YouTube.
Yeah, Aux was off from coming back with some music, so Aux is on now.
Gosh.
There is literally so much parking around that stadium. What are you talking about? That's from Big Worm.
I think Doug's referring to, does the station drop $40 every time you go to cover a game or give an interview?
Because that's
Doug, shut up.
And sometimes there's a couple of vehicles that need to be over there. It could be $80. Yeah, it gets to be a thing after a while. Every business is in it to make money, and if you're running up expenses like that, it's
what about the old Busch? Should we just kind of park behind that bowling Hall of Fame? Didn't you just sort of?
Yeah, that's right.
You sort of scramble to find a spot, backing in.
My dad used to take me. We would always hang out by that. Was there a fountain near the bowling Hall of Fame?
That sounds right. Why can't I remember this? Yes, I think so.
And we would hang out. We would always go down there early, and I remember just chasing Jack Buck down, looking for an autograph there. That was the spot
where glass doors right across from the bowling Hall of Fame.
Did you ever get one?
Yeah. And I remember the days I must have been like 8 or 9 years old, and we would go down early for batting practice, and he would just let me have free reign of the stadium, go wherever. Would that fly these days? Would you let an 8-year? I mean, Tim, you're coming up on having a near 8-year-old, right?
Oh yeah.
Would he would you allow him to just kind of go around the stadium during BP? And I mean, you keep an eye on him, but was my dad out of line for letting me do that at 8?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, he dropped you off and said, I'll be back in 4 hours. It's a little strange.
He was in the seat, but I was all over that place trying to catch foul balls during BP and whatnot.
I remember at about 13 or 14, I would go with friends to catch the Redbird Express bus at Crestwood Plaza.
You talked about that Redbird Express.
Right. Drive down to Busch Stadium. As middle schoolers, no one would ever allow their kid to do that.
How many
I don't
stops
think.
on the Redbird Express?
I don't remember them. Yeah, there weren't very many because most of the people got on right there at Crestwood Plaza. But would you let your middle schooler, your 13 or 14-year-old child do that these days? Get on public transportation in St. Louis? Go down, park at the stadium, fend for themselves with the tickets, get back on the bus, get home?
What is that age? I think 14 maybe.
Yeah, that's pushing it.
But the crazy part is now they've all got phones, so it would be easier to keep tabs on them.
Yeah.
You could see their location. They could call you, but it does seem a little scarier than it used to.
Yeah, I'd have a tough time, even with a 14 or 15-year-old, just dropping them off at the game, saying, I'll pick you up in 4 hours or whatever. And I have 0 hours of total parenting under my belt, but I would have a hard time with that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the drop where they say, I don't know really anything about this, but I'm going to give you my take?
Oh, that's my all-time favorite. That sums up our industry perfectly in one drop.
When Kurt just said, I have 0 parenting, but this is my parenting tip.
Now, I don't know the circumstances at all, but they don't matter, and I'm going to tell you why.
There it is. Come to the University of Missouri Journalism School. Come to Medill at Northwestern, Newhouse at Syracuse, Cronkite at Arizona State. Live in poverty and don't worry about the truth. And here is why. There's your summary. Get involved on the program, 314-399-9646. That's how you can text in the Air Comfort Service text inbox. Callier and Thompson phone lines, 314-974-0101. And, of course, you can watch the program at youtube.com/TMASTL. And Michelob Ultra is the sponsor of the YouTube chat. Doug Pestis from Festus wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Pestis is on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Morning, Pestis.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Oh, we're fine. How are you?
I'm doing good.
All right.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
We're gonna get through this week. You know that, don't you?
You mean with the Cubs?
Oh yeah.
Like, how many you think the Cardinals will win?
We're going to get through it. What does that mean?
I think they can win 3 out of 4.
Oh, do you? Well, that would sure be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be nice since my 90 to 95 win season went out the damn window.
Well, it's
not
not looking
yet.
too good for
Not
that.
yet. Give up.
I don't know.
If they get 90 or 95, it'd be the biggest damn streak the Cardinals have ever gone on.
You sound down on the squad despite them being 6 games over.
I'm not down on them. I'm just hoping.
I'm not down.
Okay.
I'm hoping they at least make the playoffs.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Would be fun.
Yep. Now, last night, I'm blind. So last night I listened to the basketball game. That was a heartbreaker for Halliburton.
Mm-hmm. Sure was.
I mean, from what I heard, he went down like a tree in a forest.
Yeah, it may have cost the Indiana Pacers the NBA championship.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, it's possible it cost them that. But they had a chance at halftime when they were 1 point ahead, and then they just dropped off the map.
Yeah. Third quarter was rough. McKernan was playing well, but everyone else kind of disappeared.
Yes, they did. Now, Doug, I understand you went to the ball game yesterday,
I did indeed, yes.
and you were disappointed.
Well, I was disappointed they lost.
Okay.
Were you devastated?
Take a look at who they had pitching against them, and look at his record.
Yeah, we were talking about that. He's 7-1 with a below 2 ERA. He's having a big year.
Yeah, he's got an MVP type record going right now. But the thing about it was, I think he knocked off 15 or 17 players in a row.
Knocked him off, Doug.
Oh, did he?
He retired the last 18 Cardinal hitters that he faced.
They only had 3 hits.
It was a quiet.
So here's what the Cardinals did. They said, okay, we'll lose this one. we're going to store up everything for the Cubs coming tomorrow night. And they're going to put a beating on them.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
got a T-shirt that I'm going to wear for the next 4 days when I'm sitting here listening to the ball game and everything that says, Cubs, useless by September.
Oh, my.
That's what
Sick.
Cubs stands for.
Okay.
So sick, Martin.
I think we've talked
Yeah.
about this.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And I love that T-shirt.
By about day 4, you might want to throw it in the old washer just real quick.
Oh, it goes in the washer every day.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was concerned.
I could get sweaty here listening to the ball game.
Just in your house, you get sweaty?
Well, it depends. My chair that I set in is a recliner and everything, and it can get a little warm on it, but my air conditioner cools me off, but still get a little sweaty.
Okay. All right.
Oh, no, Chairman. Jeez.
Well, it'll be a fun week of
Chairman,
listening to
what are
games.
you doing?
Oh,
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Then you got to put cornstarch on it.
He's dropping you.
Uh-huh.
What's up, Pestis?
Okay. Now, I got a question, and this is one question I'd really like to have answered.
Okay.
Last Thursday, on the emails of the day, you had somebody go off on me, and I think Doug in the background said, don't pick on Festus.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm trying to find out who that was.
yeah, you got to
Doug,
come
who's
after
going
it?
after Festus and the Design Air Heating and
Just
Cooling
don't
email
know.
today?
Feels like a,
Wow, these questions are tough.
it's like a Buck Swope opportunity here to clarify this for all of us when you get a chance, Buck.
Pestis, do you, I know you're visually impaired. Do you have access to email?
Yes, I do.
How would you feel about dipping your toes into the email of the day waters today?
Well, I have access to emails which I can receive. I can't send them.
Whatever,
Being
dude.
blind, I can't send them.
Oh,
You can't do like a talk to type kind of situation?
Well, if I get my wife up early enough, maybe she can do it for me.
Okay. Well, tell her it's important.
Okay, and where's the email go?
That would be the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Design Air
go.
Heating and Cooling email of the day.
The Pestis rebuttal coming your way today at about 10:50. Whenever your wife wakes up, tell her you need to pen a response defending your honor and fire it off, okay?
I will do that, and I'll try to get her to do it.
Okay.
She's not in the best of the moods when she wakes up, but I'll see what I can do.
okay.
Okay. Well,
Well,
thanks
good
for
luck.
thanks for checking in.
All right, you gentlemen have a great day. Stay in the office where it's cool or somewhere where it's cool, and go Cardinals.
All
There
right,
it is,
then.
Doug. There's some
Go
counsel
Redbirds.
from Pestis. Thank
Okay.
you, Pestis.
So now-
Pestis from Festus.
Mikolas and Pestis have both kind of tried to rally the troops for the big series. Completely useless by September. You got it, Doug? Did you get
Yeah,
that?
I
Did you
did,
see what he
yeah.
said? Because there's a C,
C-U-B-S.
and then there's a U, and then there's a B and an S.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
I think he dropped that one the last time. Oh. We may have gotten last time we might have had a letter wrong or something, but that's okay.
314-399-9646, Martin. That's where the people can text in. And, well, they're not happy. They're just not. Hey, guys, I'm not, quote, from here, and I have no problem sending emails. Suck it up, Festicide.
Hey.
Where there's a will, there's some fiexins. Thanks, and hashtag free perk. Trademark pending. That's from Brian Henshin, who is on his flight back from Oklahoma City, fresh off of covering the NBA Finals, and the Pacers coming up just short, Doug.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's Caitlin Clark season now, buddy. Henshin's all over it.
My eyes are fine, but now my ears are impaired after that dreadful call. That's from Big
on.
Tough.
Stop it, Tuft.
Guys, he thinks you're doing the show from outside. That's from Tiger Warson Woods. You should broadcast from his house instead, Marty. That's from Chairman Steve in Wildwood.
It may not be as convenient.
Damien.
Oh,
You're welcome to send your unhappiness with the program in so many different ways.
Tim, what's the percentage we actually get a Pestis email today? 10%?
I was going to go 15.
Okay.
I'm going to go less.
Okay.
I think Mrs. Pestis is going to take one listen to that request and say she's going back to bed.
yeah. She's not in the greatest of moods when she wakes up.
That's right.
I mean, really, that talk to text thing is,
It must work,
yeah.
right?
I hope he gives it a shot. We need some new blood in
Yeah,
there.
you got to pest us emailing in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. You can email in as well. Design Air Heating and Cooling is the sponsor of the email of the day. Mentality is a long-running sponsor here on the program. Wake up on a Monday, you're feeling low energy, low motivation. Maybe you're tired all the time. Maybe you've put on some weight. Maybe you've noticed that you've lost muscle. Those are symptoms of low testosterone. That's where Mentality can help you out. Mentality is a local healthcare facility that specializes in helping men feel and perform at their very best with board-certified physicians, providing a full physical consultation and blood panel analysis all during your first visit. Mentality focuses on free testosterone levels, which many doctors overlook, ensuring your treatment is tailored to your body. If you're interested, go to mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio to find out more information. It's Mentality. Be the dad who can keep up with kids. Be the husband your spouse knows you can be with Mentality at mentalityhealth.com/radio. Stiefel Dossier here in the Fisher Window and Door Store 8 o'clock hour. Chris Kerber, 8:15. Brad Thompson, 9:30. Design Air Heating and Cooling email the day, 10:45. The program is called TMA. It's presented by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
In the market for a new vehicle, there's one website you need to know, and that's the Auto Loan Pro. AutoLoanPro.com, financing a car, that's all you need to know. Anyone can sell you a car, but it takes a pro to do it right. AutoLoanPro.com is going to make sure they'll get you into a vehicle no matter what your situation, your circumstances. They'll get your credit back on track while getting you into a new vehicle. Little to no money down. They're going to work with over 50 different lenders to get you the best rate possible. And while on that website, they always encourage you to go down on that, download the free playbook right there on the website. That playbook's going to explain to you and educate you on how you'll get the car of your choice in the future, how the credit system works. It's educational while you're on there buying a car. AutoLoanPro.com is going to help you get back on track, get that new car. Little to no money down. Doesn't matter what the situation is. They're going to work directly with you. Auto Loan Pro is part of the Lita family. It's all you need to know. AutoLoanPro.com.
Cardinals, the young gray. Cardinals, the young gray. In 2025, we're gonna go all in.
Well, Doug, what else could you ask for? Cardinals and Cubs. Will the Cubs be only a half game up when they leave St. Louis at 4 o'clock on Thursday?
Well, that would make things fun, wouldn't it?
Telling you.
Yeah, that would really be fantastic. Yeah, maybe they can get it done. Be nice to take this first one. Be nice to get ahead.
Matthew Liberatore getting the ball.
Yeah.
A preview of the series on The Athletic. Katie Wu writes, the Cardinal rotation was projected by most to be its Achilles heel. Instead, it's helped them gain their footing. St. Louis starters have thrown the sixth most innings in MLB while posting a 3.96 ERA, a mark that ranks right at league average. Eric Fetty, who leads the rotation with a 3.54 ERA. The Cardinals are not a swing and miss staff. Sonny Gray leads the rotation with 90 strikeouts, but the next pitcher on that list is Matthew Liberatore with 66. It's a ground ball reliant staff, but they've done an exceptional job pitching to their strengths. No team in baseball has recorded more ground ball outs than the Cardinals' 455. Fun fact for no one tell.
Yeah. Helps to have a very good defensive infield with Arenado, Wynn, Donovan, third, short, and second. That helps, too.
Cardinals also have had great health with the rotation during an era when pitching injuries are an all-time high. Katie writes in The Athletic this morning, the Cardinals have not had a significant injury to their pitching staff. The organization has been extremely intentional about maximizing rest and keeping its starting pitchers on a 6-day schedule, and that's why they've implemented a 6-man rotation at times, turning Michael McGreevy as a spot starter when needed. The pattern will continue this series, though not yet official. McGreevy should start one of the next 4 games, likely tomorrow night's game.
Well, maybe that's what it takes. They've been looking for the formula. All of Major League Baseball has been looking for a formula on how to keep their pitchers more healthy. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe just that one more day of rest makes a big difference. It just makes you marvel at how they did it a generation ago when there were 4-man staffs and guys took the ball all the time.
My hot take on Friday was that Palante needs to go to the bullpen, give McGreevy his spot. I want to see McGreevy in the rotation. Palante went out Friday evening, went 6 shutout innings, gave up 2 hits. Think he was listening?
I would assume so.
They don't want to be relievers.
Bump.
They'd much rather be starters. That's where the money is.
I know he doesn't want to be a reliever.
I'm not going to hold my breath. The Cardinals are going to get swept by the Cubs. That's from Eric in the Central West End.
No, they're not.
No, I'm a starter at heart.
Would you take a series split, Doug?
Well, I'd say yes, because you'd still be in it.
Or do you want to get greedy?
Still be very
put it
much
back.
in it.
I'm going to put it back in, Tim. I'm going to get a little greedy and just hopeful, and then I'm going to
3
regret.
of 4.
I'm going to regret not taking the 2.
3 of 4.
That's asking a lot. Although the Cubs are 10-9 in June, they've cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, they. If you take a look at what they've dealt with though in June, they've faced some damn good pitching. Kenzie Gore, Skubal, Zach Wheeler, and Skeens. So that has played a role in limiting their offense. But they have a pretty damn good offense, and. Cardinals will. You know who's been raking here lately? My goodness, the Brewers. I don't know. That was the whole story in the month of April that they couldn't hit. They've each of the last 4 games have had a minimum of 9 runs, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9 runs, and they went off for 17 in another game. So the Brewers have been mounting a charge in the division.
They're a game ahead of the Cardinals now.
Mm-hmm.
They're Milwaukee's 3.5 out, Cards 4.5 out.
Cal Rowley. I'm going to back up and try that again. Yeah. 4 home runs over the weekend up at Wrigley.
He's at 31 on the season.
On pace for 67.
He's going to break Bonds' record.
I know.
Wait, how many years in is he? I'd never heard that name until this year.
But he's been a 30-homer guy. But he's 31. We're not even at the All-Star break.
You know his nickname, Doug?
No.
The Big Dumper.
Oh, gosh.
That sounds like a texter to this show. The big. Did they have to elaborate? Did anybody ever go up and did Cal May ever ask him? So why do they call you the Big Dumper? The best nickname I saw over the weekend. It's a Red Sox prospect. Have you seen this? The guy's his first name is Jhostynxon Garcia. and they just call him the password because his first name looks like one of those auto-generated passwords.
Coach, what goes through your mind when you see the ball actually go through the hoop there?
Well, I knew it was good.
Yeah, that's why they have the nets. It's like when the Cardinals had Zipchinski and no one could spell Zipchinski and they called him Scrabble.
Scrabble, that's exactly right. Martin, I don't know what this text means. You can interpret all four of those pitchers that you mentioned, comma, Tim. The Cardinals are beat. Baseball, 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 ho, ho, ho.
Okay, knock it off with that sort of message.
So you're saying the pitchers the Cubs struggled against, Cardinals actually did well with some of those stud pitchers.
You can give your thoughts like that. Baseball, 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 ho, ho, ho. 314-399-9646. Air Comfort Service text inbox. Chris Kerber with us next. This is TMA 101 ESPN.
way cities' hearts ignite. Under the arch, we bring the fight. Benny in the net, holding the line tight. Blues charging forward in the playoff light. Joe Boo's luck got us on a roll. Thomas and Cairo gonna light up the goal. With a note on our chest, we won't stop or flop. 2025, we're bringing home the cup.
This is very
How
good.
good is this? How great is this, actually? I'm sorry.
This could replace Gloria.
Fisher Window and Door Store, 8 o'clock hour here on the Morning After. The program presented to you by Brown and Crouppen, Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne, and Chairman Kurt on the ones and twos as little Jackie Papers is vacationing in Cape Cod. Doug, he will be back tomorrow.
Okay.
But joining us right now here on the Callier and Thompson phone lines, as he does every Monday in the 8 o'clock hour, Chris Kerber with us to give us his perspective. Morning, Kerbs.
Morning, Tim. How are you?
Wonderful. How are things with you, sir?
Things are good. Just took Ava to get her driver's permit test, but that line's a little too long for a Monday morning. So we're going to go back and do that later and see if she can pass.
Why don't you go get a little breakfast instead? You know what? A little bonding time, and then maybe even go tomorrow.
Well, with that line, we might need brunch. We'll come back a little later on today. Right now, wait, how old is Trinity? Does Trinity have her permit yet?
She's going to get her permit soon. I mean, you got to study all the online and the quiz, and it's a lot more detailed. I think I just went and flunked it a couple times.
Oh, did you?
And then eventually got it. I think now they actually try and prepare.
Yeah. Well, there's now apparently where they can take all these practice tests and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool.
I've long maintained that the most important birthday you have in your life is 16, when you can drive. Nothing changes in your life more than that 16th birthday in the driver's
What about
license.
joining this show, Doug?
Yeah, what about
No, that's nothing.
And I would add that it's probably the most important birthday as a parent for your kids, too, for that, too. Because it's sort of like all of a sudden when they can start driving themselves to and from some places, it's like you get a massive part of your life back.
Yeah, and their whole world opens up. Instead of just riding a bicycle around the neighborhood, they can go anywhere now.
Yeah, now, lucky for me, and I guess I say lucky, but all three of my girls have been like, yeah, I want to drive. Like, I've known some people where, like, the kids are like, no, I have no interest in driving, and parents are still like, they're 18 or 19, and parents are still driving them to and from work, and I'm sitting there going, nope, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
If that was our house, you would be finding a place to work where you can walk to work or learn to drive.
Mm-hmm. That works, too. So what are the Blues doing right about now, mid to late June?
Well,
What's on their schedule?
Well, this is a pretty important week because the draft is on Friday. They don't have a lot of draft picks. They only have three, a first, a sixth, and a seventh because of all the different moves and things that have been made. So we had a meeting today. We're going to find it out. Alex Ferrari and I will be doing a draft show on Friday night. Live on 101, so we'll have some good hockey talk that night too. Because I'll be honest with you, if someone's tuning in, trying to listen to me, going, okay, the San Jose Sharks picked this guy. Here's what I can tell you about that guy. You're listening to the wrong show because I don't have a clue when it comes to that kind of thing. So what we'll do is we will then, when the Blues pick, we will get people on to talk that actually know what that prospect is. And what they'll do. So we'll have a good show Friday night, and then. Just kind of get ready. It becomes the busiest stretch of the summer because you're prepping for the draft, and this is the first year that the draft is decentralized, right? So instead of having everybody in one city on the floor like we've always seen, this is more the NFL model, and so teams are going to be in their own rooms and that kind of stuff. We're going to find out if GMs like it. I'm kind of guessing that they're not, but we'll find out, and then. And then you go right from there to the July 1st free agency. And that's a big day for the St. Louis Blues. Maybe not as much because you're sitting there thinking, are they going to make a big splash in free agency? But it's a big day on July 1st because that's when a lot of contract clauses seem to change.
Yeah.
Right? So you'll have Nick Leddy and Justin Falk, for example. And Torrey Krug, right, who's no trade clauses. now become modified on July 1st, where they've got to submit a certain number of teams they can or can't be traded to, depending on the wording there. At the same time, you've got a Jordan Kyrou, where on July 1st, his full no-trade clause kicks in. So I guess with Robert Thomas as well there. So to me, that ends up being a big day in terms of some freedom or lack thereof, depending on how you look at it, in terms of how the Blues adjust their team moving forward.
Yeah, in other words, if you're trying to move one of those players, if you're Doug Armstrong, you got to do it quick, right? The clock's ticking, in a sense, if you're trying to move any of those specific players.
Yeah. So, in other words, and the way to look at it is, the simple way to look at it is, if you're looking at a trade that involves a Kyrou or a Thomas or whomever that it would kick in, right? You have complete freedom to make that trade before July 1st. On July 1st, you now have to go to that player and say, okay, we want to trade you. This is where we have a deal. Will you accept that trade? And the last two times that has happened for the Blues, the player has rejected it. One being Torrey Krug, one being Braden Shen, right? At least the way that's what the reporting has been around that last trade deadline. So, and then the flip side is it's sort of like when Anaheim had a deal with the Blues for Cam Fowler, they had to go to Cam and say, okay, this was not one of the four teams that you had on your to-go-to list. Would you consider a move here? And he accepted it, and then that was able to consummate that deal. So, and then on the flip side is quite true, too. Now it's with some of these guys in the last 2 to 3 or final year of a contract, say like Nick Leddy's in the final year. I think Justin Falk has 2, Torrey Krug has 2, but I think the anticipation is that he, I have not heard that, he's really even been skating and a comeback's feasible at this point, but, for his sake, you hope it is. The reality of it is, those guys now, if it's a 15-team no-trade list, all right, well, then there's 16, 17 teams you can trade them to. And so it's going to give Doug Armstrong some flexibility maybe now that he has not had over the last couple of years to adjust that defensive core, or if a forward is in that standpoint as well.
Are they doing a watch party? Aren't they doing something at Enterprise Friday, late afternoon, evening?
I don't know that it's a watch party. They're doing a season ticket holder event.
Okay.
One of the things when Chris Zimmerman got here as president of the team, really from day one, it was, how do we make sure that we show value to our season ticket holders more than we ever have? And that has been pretty much the marching orders. And so it was benefits right off the bat. It was events. It was our Heritage theme nights. And so, here's another example. If you're a Blues season ticket holder, they're, holding a bit of like a pre-draft party down at Enterprise Center, and Jim Montgomery's going to be there. I'll be emceeing it. Jim Montgomery will be one of the speakers. We'll have a couple other hockey ops people talking to us as well. And just, keeping the fans connected during the summer.
Chris Kerber, our guest here on TMA 101 ESPN. He joins us every Monday in the 8 o'clock hour. A lot of talk in Edmonton and really around the league about the future of Connor McDavid and what the Oilers are going to do. Do you think we will see some movement there this offseason?
I don't anticipate some movement this offseason there. I just think it's going to be a topic cloud that's just going to hang over the Edmonton Oilers until they get an extension done for Connor McDavid. And he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And guys, I don't know where you're at with this kind of stuff, but, when you see an Alex Pietrangelo and others have decided to move on from teams, you thought, man, they got it pretty good here. When you've seen a Wayne Gretzky in the past be able to be traded out of Edmonton, when Albert Pujols, walks away from the St. Louis Cardinals. These, to me, are all situations that say I no longer bet on a player staying somewhere. So the way I look at that is they've got plenty of time to figure it out. They can start talking to him on July 1st, I believe, about an extension. So we'll see if they get there. And the reality of it is that even though the salary cap is going up over these next 3 years, even though that they know what the cap is going to be over these next 3 years, The reality is if Connor McDavid is going to take, say, quote unquote, full market value, the Edmonton Oilers are going to have a hard time putting a competitive team on the field, on the ice, right? Like you have. I look at it, and you're going to have Connor McDavid's going to have to do what Sidney Crosby did. Now he's not going to take less than Leon Draisaitl, who they signed, so you know where that is. You take the same and be just fine, right? But Sidney Crosby has taken deals that have been below what he could have been paid on the open market, and he did so to keep the Pittsburgh Penguins competitive for a long time, and they've got 3 Stanley Cups to show for it. That's where Connor McDavid's going to have to make a personal decision on whether or not he wants to stay in Edmonton or not. That's where it starts. And then what value do you sign for that allows your team to still stay competitive in a cap era?
And Kerbs, the big rollout is tomorrow, Tuesday. We're going to have some guests here in studio. I'll see you on the TV side, and it's the new jersey, new look. The logo's changed for the first time since '97, I want to say. How do they go about that? Is there market research? Who ultimately says, yes, that's the look?
Well, there was a lot of people that had a role in that. Brenda Wilbur is our vice president of branding. And there's more words to her title. Like, everybody has more words to the title, but that's pretty much the role. So I apologize for not remembering the rest of the words there. But it's a process, Martin, that I can tell you that has been in the works for probably 4 years now. So, yeah, there's been a lot of market research done. There's been a lot of discussions, a lot of research with season ticket holders, a lot of research with Blues fans. Working with some great companies on this. And from an organizational standpoint, from ownership to hockey ops to players, to the business side, they've all had a hand in this. I can tell you that I have been able to see a preview of some of the things that are going to be rolled out tomorrow, and I'm excited as all heck about it. I think it's fantastic. So I think fans are going to be really, really excited tomorrow when they get to see everything that's coming.
Very nice. We're going to have that on this program tomorrow, the debut of the Blues' new logo. Chris Kerber with us here on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. He is with us every Monday on 101 ESPN. Curbs, appreciate the conversation. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
All right, guys. Have an awesome week.
You too.
Right,
that's Chris Kerber with us here on TMA. Callier and Thompson sponsor the phone lines. Doug, you know anything about Callier and Thompson? I think you do.
Well, I do. I know lots. I've been there several times, and they're just fantastic people to work with. Callier and Thompson is a company you can trust for any kind of remodeling project for your home, not just for kitchens and baths, but any interior remodeling job. Need a man cave, an office, a bar? You got it. Callier and Thompson. They even do wine rooms and fireplace walls. Callier and Thompson is your go-to source for every design consideration. They carry the best cabinets, appliances, countertops in the business, and better yet, it's all under one roof. There's no need to drive around to 5 or 10 different businesses for one job. At Callier and Thompson, they do it all. You ought to go to their website, CallierandThompson.com. Check out some of the reviews. Well, here's one now from Susie. Hello, Susie Q. She says everyone entering our home was courteous and professional. The lead carpenter from C&T, calls it C&T. Callier and Thompson was polite, patient, and very talented. They kept us informed. Excellent experience. Beautiful resort. Thank you so much, Susie. The showroom is on Manchester and Baldwin, right next to Uncle Bill's Pancake House. So let Callier and Thompson bring your dream remodel to reality and come home to quality online at CallierandThompson.com.
There it is. Callier and Thompson sponsor the phone lines, which you can call into at 314-974-0101. Air Comfort Service, sponsor of the text inbox, 314-399-9646. Michelob Ultra, sponsor of the YouTube chat. That's youtube.com/TMA STL. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. Chairman Curtis filling in for Jackson Burkett, who is on vacation. This is TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. Michael's Flooring is online at iGotFlooring.com. getfloored.com. And Michael has been operating the Michael's Flooring business locally for over 30 years. He takes great pride in helping and making sure that his employees are happy and make a great living, because when the employees are happy, they pass that passion and love for the business along to the customers. Go online right now. You can get 3 samples free from Proximity Mills. Michael's passion is flooring. When you order from him, he wants you to have the best experience for the best price. That's why he's making sure he gets the best installers and giving them $7 a square yard, which is incredible compensation in this industry. Just come in or talk to them, and you're going to see the difference. They want to make sure they suggest the best thing for you, not just pushing what corporate is telling them they have too much of. There is a reason he's continued to grow through the 31 years. Employees love working for him as they feel like family, and he makes sure they are taken care of, and this then rubs off to the families buying the product as they know they have the best interest of the buyers at heart. Come see why people are loving getting floored by Michael, and make sure you visit igotfloored.com.
This is another SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals dropped the third game of the three-game set at home against the Reds, 4-1. Start a four-gamer tonight against the Cubs. Ben Brown on the mound for the Cubs against Matthew Liberatore for the Cardinals. First pitch is at 6:45. That was another SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
You like this, Jim?
I guess it's okay. Who's doing this?
Tim, do you know this one?
I don't recognize it.
This is O-Town.
O-Town, Doug.
And what is O-Town? Is that Orlando?
I don't know what their O
I think
stands
it's
for.
Overland.
Overland. Oh, that's right.
That was
KG
mine.
and O-Town.
Yeah, this is an ode to me.
Okay. These are the boys from Rittner put this together?
I think so, yeah.
It's TMA 101 ESPN. The show's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen, and we are in the Fisher Window and Door Store, 8 o'clock hour. We will have Brad Thompson joining us coming up in the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour, joined by Chris Kerber in the previous segment. Very rarely do you see what we saw this weekend in sports, in which you have perhaps the most important moment of the college baseball season. Doug, LSU won their first game of the best of three, 1-0, with the winds blowing in Omaha at 40 miles an hour. How about that? And so Coastal Carolina, Martin, they're fighting for their lives. The Chanticleers. And their manager goes out, and this is what happens in the first inning.
Oh, my goodness, he just threw Kevin Schnall out of the game. In the bottom of the first inning, the home plate umpire throws Kevin Schnall out of this game, and down goes an umpire who had come in to get in the middle of things. I believe, guys, this had to do what happened at the end of the top of the first with the third base coach for LSU. This seemed to stem from the first base coach. And then Schnall remarkably gets thrown out of the game. A College World Series game 2 in the bottom of the first.
And I didn't even see that building, guys. Like, it's one pitch, and next thing you know, Schnall's out of the dugout, and Angel Campbell's had clearly heard enough. That thing escalated quickly.
Again, this will always come back to whatever was said. They may have just thrown another one out. That's an aggressive ejection.
That's too quick. It's just too quick. I mean, you can't hear everything that was said, but at the end of the day, that feels too quick to run somebody, and then ultimately two right there.
Doug tossed in the bottom of the first inning. An umpire comes in from first base, I believe the crew chief, and he falls, I think you call it ass over tea kettle.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, the legs were akimbo, no doubt.
Oh, no.
Here is what the Coastal Carolina manager had to say after his team lost to LSU and lost the College World Series, but he was kicked out in the first inning.
There's 25,000 people there. I vaguely hear a warning issued. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. If you guys watched the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. Don't retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is. But if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections.
Doug, that was the end.
And the umpire named Angel.
Oh, no.
But not Angel Hernandez, although his middle name is Hernandez. Angel Campos, at the center of this. He was a former Major League umpire until he was let go after the 2014 season. And then they said he was known for a couple of incidents.
Uh-oh.
He threw out the Royals catcher Matt Trainer in a game against the Cardinals when the two were exchanging words. They said Trainer was not facing Campos at the time he was thrown out. Royals manager Ned Yost, who was also ejected, later quoted as saying, "Nobody in the park knew they were arguing, nobody. And to reject the guy under those circumstances isn't right." Did it again the next year. Matt Kemp was in the dugout for the Dodgers, and this same guy threw him out because he said he was barking about balls and strikes. There's a whole longer story to it. Bottom line is this Angel Campos seems to have a quick trigger. My question is, if there is a little bit of a history, didn't quite cut it, it appears, at the MLB level, how is he there in the deciding game?
Yeah.
Behind home plate.
The best one they got. Of all umpires in college baseball, they thought he was the best.
Because if you read it, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the detailed stories of the Dodgers thing and throwing people out, he seems to have a quick fuse or quick trigger there, short fuse. And there's a little history there. And I thought that was a great explanation. That coach's team just lost the College World Series, and he's trying to explain why he's tossed out. And he's right. It's don't need to be shooed by a grown man.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
How about that, Marty?
Exactly.
I detest the unwritten rule that questioning balls and strikes is essentially an automatic toss. You can argue a call at a base, you can argue other things, but balls and strikes is untouchable. I don't like that.
They used to say, "Did you say the magic words?" Which was something insulting. You missed 3 of them is not enough to get tossed out. How thin is your skin? It's terrible. And you do have to have some sense of the game. College World Series,
I agree with you.
championship
Elimination game.
Right.
And just kind of go, okay, enough. All right, hey, I don't want to hear it. Hey, I'm going to toss you if you don't zip it, pal. Whatever tough guy talk you need to use. You don't just, your blink can't be throw people out.
Yeah. He wasn't the only umpire that had a rough one yesterday.
Who else?
CB Buckner in the Cards-Reds game.
This was Saturday, was it, right?
Yeah. Oh, my apologies.
Saturday.
Yeah, but missed 28 calls in that game.
28 calls. And I saw the replay of the missed calls. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, some were borderline, but some were just, I don't know what happened. They were so egregious. And now, do you guys agree that the behind-the-plate umpiring has improved substantially this year? It's my opinion. Maybe I'm off the mark on it.
I haven't really noticed a difference.
Which maybe is a sign that it's better because you haven't really noticed.
Yeah.
Like you would notice if it was
It's
terrible.
just like they are. I feel like there's like a uniform strike zone now. So to see this, it really stood out. Yeah, 28 missed calls in the Cardinal victory on Saturday.
Yeah, he was really hot. He had to take some time away to go in the dugout to get hydrated there at one point.
Did you like Ellie De La Cruz's rainbow shower?
That was interesting. Yeah, the camera certainly caught that. And
then he had a home run.
Yeah, he recovered. The manager said that he went in and he saw him drink a whole bunch of water right before he went out. Or, yeah, it was Francona, I guess, right?
And that's why you watch those guys when they hydrate. They always spit it out, don't they? Just you can't drink too much water.
Yeah.
Tip for the kids out there.
But if you're an umpire, you've got to have a thick skin. You got to know that everybody's jacked up and they're going to blame you for anything that doesn't go their way. You just got to have kind of a thicker skin than what this guy showed in the college game. You have to. Remember when Mark McGwire got thrown out in the first inning at a game when they had 47,000 people in the stands?
Was it Bob Davison?
I believe it was Bob Davison. I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah, you got to know that the people didn't come to see you as the umpire. And while you don't have to take everything, you got to take a little.
Yeah, and that coach seemed very measured and obviously still upset, but gave a very thorough explanation as to what took place, and nothing was egregious. I was looking to see if there's any quotes from the umpire explaining it.
He got a little banty in either the regionals or the super regionals with I forget the opponent they had, but I think he's a banty one. He got into it with the team's coach prior to a game.
It would seem to indicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad that he did that he chose the biggest stage for college baseball to show what a tough guy he is, to be able to throw everybody out of the game. That's stupid. Stupid.
Bring on the robots for umpires and for sex. Doug, that's from Doug's prison wallet.
Okay.
Is that a take that you can get behind?
Well, not the sex part.
I know you like water sports.
It wouldn't bother me if they went to the automated strike call. I'd be fine with that.
Ruin me.
I like when they argue. I like a good umpire-manager argument, but not if somebody's just going to just toss everyone immediately.
Sometimes with it.
These umpires have way too much authority. That's why us fans can't wait till they go to the box. Take that BS missed call away. We're not there to watch balls 3 inches outside that box called. And most of these umpires have way too much power. They toss people at the drop of a hat. Get rid of that BS. Let's go to instant replay. It's 2025. Everything else is changing. Why isn't this they control way too much of the game? It's from the 870.
Okay. Well, nobody seems to have a problem with the reviews where they get the plays correctly on the bases. I don't know why you'd have a problem with them getting all the balls and strikes correctly, or at least probably 99% of them anyway.
It appears to me Bob Davidson took away a home run, like overruled on a home run. Sam Holbrook ejected McGuire during a game August 29, 1998 in the first inning after he argued a called third strike. Holbrook issued several warnings before ejecting him.
Yeah. And by that time, August 29th, he was close to breaking the record.
Right, that's right in the stretch drive because Labor Day weekend around the corner. Bob Davidson, though, they called him Balkin' Bob. And I don't know the context here, but Bernie wrote a column for STL Today in 2010. Ump Davidson is a disgrace to the game. So Bob Davidson, and then he noted here that he took a home run away from McGuire during that 98 season. I think that was the game in Milwaukee.
It matters. It matters.
Martin, you remember the SEC umpire who called in a couple of weeks ago?
Reasonable
He is on the Callier and Thompson phone lines, and according to Chairman Kurt's text to me, he is not happy with us. SEC umpire, welcome to 101 ESPN. You're on the Callier and Thompson phone lines.
Guys, it's good to be back. A pleasure. Thank you for having me back on here. I wouldn't say I'm not happy. I would just like to say that you guys got to understand this. We have a certain, including big league umpires all the way through professional baseball and in college as well. We have a protocol that we have to follow when ejecting anybody. You can't just go out there and start running guys like the old days. Those days are gone. I'm not saying there aren't guys that aren't aggressive, maybe a little quick. But, again, you always say also, too, well, he had his back turned to him. Well, again, the magic words, if you make it verbal and a personal insult, it is, like I told you guys last time, it's automatic. We have to follow those protocols. If we don't, then the NCAA could get involved or something else could be, it could blow up. And if you don't maintain control of the game, that's when it can get out of hand. Now, talking about this past weekend, Angel, I don't know Angel Campos personally, but obviously he has a professional background, as I do. I do know Angel Hernandez personally, and I can tell you that he is one of the best human beings I've ever met, one of the most humble guys I've ever met. And, yes, he's missed calls and big plays and big moments. We all miss them. But I'll just say that about Angel Hernandez. But we don't know what was said in the first inning. Now, could Angel have said to the head coach, the manager, said, "Hey, if it were me, and I wasn't in the situation, but if it were me, I probably would have said, hey, listen, I heard what you had to say," because he already gave his official ball strike warning, as the coach admitted to. He already heard that. So per our protocol, if you continue to argue after being given an official ball strike warning, then you're done. You cannot continue to argue. Now, in this situation, personally, I might have blown him up and taken the heat because of the magnitude of the game and said, hey, listen, I've issued your balls and strike warning. You have got to stop or I will eject you. I might have done something like that. Maybe, maybe not. Again, I was not in that moment, which I hope to be one day. But what I can tell you is guys do have a history, as you guys are talking about. There are umpires that are aggressive. There are umpires that are not. This job is not an easy job, guys. It is a very difficult job, and it takes a special somebody to do the job that we do. Now, lastly, the ABS, what they had in spring training, I was on that system quite a bit. It's a pretty accurate system. It really is. But I will tell you this, it does not call the high strike. What Major League Baseball is going to have to do, and if it eventually comes to the college level, they're going to have to either adjust the rule book to say we're not going to get the letter high strike because that's the one that doesn't call. It'll get the top of the ball, bottom zone, below the knee, right, the hollow of the knee, which is per rule book, but it will not call the high strike. But that is probably what's eventually going to come to the big leagues, and some umpires will be exposed early because they'll have to get used to it, which they will. The guys coming up from AAA and AA, they'll probably be better ball strike guys because they're used to it. But if that comes, that's probably what's going to end up coming, and I think that would probably be good for the game, and I think Major League Baseball wants that. So I know that's a lot, but just wanted to chime with you.
All right, well, SEC umpires, so in your professional opinion then, if the coach, manager yells, what's the warning for? That's a reasonable question. And if it says balls and strikes and the guy says you missed 3 of them, do you think most umpires would toss somebody for saying just that, if that's accurate?
I would probably say not, but again, that when you take the context is being in that moment on the field, right? But just for that, probably not. But again, were there any cheap shots off the air, like when the camera wasn't on? When they were at commercial break, was he chirping from the dugout? I don't know that. Do we know that? So this thing could have escalated even in the first inning. It could have, and obviously it did. But I told you, I thought I might have blew him up even more and taken the heat for the rest of the game to keep him in the game, maybe, but I can't really say for sure. And you guys know I'm not going to throw any umpire under the bus, obviously. I'm going to maintain professionalism here. But at the same time, I think my opinion, possibly, but I don't know. I probably wouldn't have done that, but I don't know.
I would hope most umpires in that situation, if what the coach is saying is accurate, would allow for that. My goodness, it seems outrageous that in that game, in that moment, that's what you're going to toss a guy for, if, again, that it's accurate. And it does seem to me the guy has a history of having a quick trigger. That's what it's. I know you said you don't know him. And Angel Hernandez, he may be a great guy, but there were some issues with his umpiring. He may be a tremendous person.
Of course. Yeah, we're not. I mean, the stats are the stats, right? Video tells all. I mean, it is what it is. We all miss them. And like I said, Angel has missed calls in big moments and big situations. I mean, it's going to happen when you do this long enough. It's just part of the gig. You can either take it or you can't. And there's guys who are just better than others. I mean, you guys can sit there and say, oh, I know this radio host is better at me at this, and this, but I'm better than him at this, and this. And you can look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that and be honest with yourself, just like I can with baseball. But at the same time, you're going to make mistakes, and that happens. And this is part of the gig. And if you can't handle it, then get out. That's how, in my opinion.
Actually, all the shows and hosts are better than us, so it helps to kind of helps to know that.
According to the numbers,
it helps to know that. According to the texters, we're terrible,
the worst.
Well, would it violate any kind of protocol from the NCAA if the umpire in that kind of situation talked to the coach and said, listen, I know it's a huge game. I don't want to run you, but you're just not going to be able to yell at me the whole game. I'm not going to take it. Maybe give him an extra warning at a time like this and say, I do not want to throw you out, but you are not going to sit here and scream at me the whole game. Could that not have worked?
It could have. But here's one thing you have to take into consideration. Does Angel Campos know him at all? Does he have any working relationship with him at all? If so, maybe he knows that he can't do that, or it might escalate even more. So you have to take into consideration, whether you know the guy or not. If I don't know a person, I personally will try to give them the benefit of the doubt and become personable and maybe walk over in the half inning and be like, hey, man, just as you said, and maybe pull out my lineup card, maybe, to make it look like I'm not trying to dress him down or anything, right? Be professional and say, hey, we can't do this. This is a big game, big moment. So to answer your question, no, it's not a violation of any NCAA protocol. Could it have been used to be personable in that moment because of the magnitude of that game? Absolutely.
All right, the folks would like to run you. You're getting run.
Right,
you just got tossed on the text line. You're out of here, pal.
The
See you,
SEC
boys.
There's the SEC umpire. Thank you,
Hit
SEC
the bricks.
umpire.
A couple of people say, I really like him. And they say, okay, but that's enough.
It was just clean. Nobody'd really done any dirty business really in it. And so it didn't smell bad. I guess they'd pumped it. And the day before is a few inches of the fluid, the blue fluid. And I just put my feet in and my knees, and then I had a tent cover with me.
See, now he needed to be ejected. That's an immediate
The porta potty
ejection.
guy gets ejected?
Yeah, you get run right away for that. No warning.
Kind of kink shaming a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
We cleared it up. Doug is a sissy.
There's producer Joe chiming into the program. Text in 314-399-9646. That is how you can text into the program. Air Comfort Service, sponsor of our text inbox. You also can call in, like the SEC umpire did, at 314-974-0101. Collier and Thompson, sponsor of the phone lines. Brad Thompson will be on those phone lines coming up here in the Marcana Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour, and we'll have the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day coming your way at approximately 10:45. This program is called TMA, and it's presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN. Is this 98 degrees, Doug?
No, it's not quite that hot yet, but it will get later today.
Nick Lachey, his brother Drew, and Stan. 98 degrees. And this is a tribute to his wedding with the delightful Jessica Simpson?
I just don't know what it's a tribute to.
And he's a big Reds fan, and they just played the Reds. That's why we're doing this, I guess. Is Edmonds friends with him?
He was.
Was random?
Lachey?
Yes. I don't know why. Call in, Jim. Oh, that's right. You're done with media.
Boy, doesn't it give us a perspective when James Carlton's in studio,
It
Nick
really
Lachey's
does.
singing.
Yeah.
James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, online at carltoninsurance.net. He's my insurance agent. He should become yours as well. He is in studio right now. Good morning, James.
Good morning. You know, one time I think you said coming back from break, is this better than Ezra? And Doug goes, I don't know. Ezra was pretty good. One of my faves.
James, what's the good word? You were recovering from an unfortunate incident on the golf
Let's
course.
recap that, yeah.
When we talked last Monday, I just asked you during the commercial break if you did any ball striking over the weekend, and you said, no, I'm retired. That was the end of your career?
I had to take some time away from the game.
Did you?
Yeah.
Have you thought about lessons?
Yes, I have.
You've
I
just
have.
thought
It's all
about
about
it,
time, Doug. You know,
Yeah.
those take time. And
I know.
if you had to choose between playing or taking lessons, you know, sometimes hacking it up and just getting out there is more enjoyable.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the challenge now is more mental than
Yes.
physical. Okay.
Yes, I'm seeing a therapist on that.
Gonna grind.
I was thinking some questions for the audience today.
Oh, questions for
Yes.
the audience.
Really?
Doug, questions
Some
from the
engagement.
audience is my
Okay.
podcast, but James is bringing questions for our audience,
I
like
have
a Gallup poll.
If you had to sum up this show with one drop, which would it be?
This
That's a
guy-
question.
this
for
guy's
the
a
audience.
producer.
Some people like things, and some people don't like other
Boy,
things.
you know what? I think that might be the answer.
How about confirm?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
I'm sure there
he
is.
called into the show. I don't recall what you two were arguing about, Doug, but that's when producer Joe uttered the famous line, which candidly I think are kind of words to live by. Do we have that drop, Chairman Kurt? Chairman Kurt's filling in for Jackson Burkett, who is vacationing. He'll
Was
be back
it
tomorrow.
Joe's way of ending the discussion?
Probably so, Martin. That's a good read on your part.
Some people like some things.
I think for me, it's about 40 minutes ago, you guys were talking about iced tea.
Yeah, that also can come. That can sum it up really nicely as well.
That guy should call in. I love that guy.
Some people like things, and some people don't like other things.
Some people like some things, some people don't like other things.
Yeah.
That's a great question, though. The drop that sums it all up.
Or I don't know who the starlet was, Tim, but she just goes,
Keisha Gray, Doug, a friend of
That's
the
not a bad
program.
Mm-hmm. What I notice about the Charlie Marlowe drops is that he's a really laid back, but he seems agitated. All of the Chuck drops.
That's what this show does to you.
Right. I feel like they got to him.
Hey, Tim, I saw that hottie, James Carlton, at Clover and the Bee the other day. What a little sex pig he is. That's from the recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Webster Groves. What a great compliment that is.
7 a.m. I did see him right when I walked in.
Did he call you a sex pig, or is this just an observation?
No, that's something he texts in.
Those exchanges are going to get a little more awkward moving forward.
Why do our listeners want to have sex with us?
There's that drop. The Roof Daddy drop is an all-time favorite. Martin, that was from like a minor league or maybe a youth hockey team somewhere in Canada, and the announcer was really getting into it. That is an all-time favorite. That is from relative recent history. Chairman Kurt, have you been able to locate Roof Daddy on
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with this one.
when you hear it, you'll recognize.
Well, you can't hear. He doesn't have a headset.
Oh, well, then that'll make it problematic.
I'll podcast later.
Yeah, PLTD.
I think the porta potty guy represents.
That's a good one.
Represents what a lot of the texters, if you actually did hear from them, what they might sound like.
Yeah, that one's cringeworthy. Another question that I have for the audience is, and this would be a great one for KG, so I'm sorry he doesn't have his mic, but where would be the best place non-online to find a date? And I think I have the answer.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't know if I can answer a question with a question, Doug. I don't know what your ruling is on that.
Go ahead and I'll allow it.
The question I feel like is, what demographic are you searching for?
So let's say minimum age 30, maximum age 45. Let's give that range.
I'm going to go with Napoli.
Okay. That's kind of a traditional. Mount Rushmore play. I think just because of the easy icebreaker, there's a place in the city called Bar K. Are you guys familiar with it?
Bar K. Is that a dog
So
park?
it's a massive dog park with indoor and outdoor with bars everywhere. So people come with their dog. They're unleashed. And so dogs, come up to other dogs and sniff them. And all of a sudden you're saying, hey, what kind of dog is that? How long have you had? It's such an easy icebreaker.
Oh, really?
And if dog people like other dog people.
Sure.
That is true. That is a real thing.
I was there on Saturday. I was thinking this would be just the greatest place to just meet a stranger. Or any park.
It's refreshing to see
I always feel like if I lived in New York, I would just be walking through
women.
Central Park and just find a date there.
Who's been to Bar K? I think, didn't you go there, KG? Didn't you borrow a dog? I know you can't speak because you don't have a mic. Sort of an odd Nell situation, but didn't you go to Bar K recently?
No. My dog's mother takes him there, so that's kind of their thing.
His dog's mother takes him there, Doug.
Puppy mama.
His puppy.
Ooh, there's another great all-time drop is when Iggy is explaining you don't have a mom.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I've listened to it so many times, still don't understand it, but I love it.
I'm in an alliance with Ray King, and he suggested the Darren Pang. So this is a show, huh? I think that also does kind of sum it up.
Well, first of all, you don't have a mom because you're not married, so your kids don't have that mom that you're dating.
That was Iggy drop. We just heard
I
James.
need to workshop
James doesn't have a headset.
It's okay.
You're going to workshop that one?
Is that
No,
site still
scissoring
alive?
really isn't
I
very,
think it was
very fun.
Dotem that created it. That's like, what is it, clipthatoff.com?
Clipthatoff.com,
I wonder
sure.
if that's still alive.
Oh, yeah.
It is?
Clipthatoff.com. Yeah, he's using it
So
right
for the
now.
listeners out there that just want to, maybe
TMA drops,
share the drops with their spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, what have you, I think that's a great place to go.
Clipthatoff.com.
Little soundboard.
Yeah. Dotem created it. The great Deke Dotem. Absolutely.
So you're suggesting Bar K
Yes.
is a place.
If you're just, I'm kind of tired of the online scene. I want to go get the full profile in person.
Yeah.
I think that's a good play. I really do.
And it just doesn't happen at bars very much anymore?
Well, you have to have the courage to go talk. The dog is taking that courage for you.
Okay.
I think you might be right on this. I like your angle.
Yes.
We're getting votes for Helen Fitzgerald's, Doug. You say you've never driven by and not seen it.
It's unbelievable.
It's 365 days.
I just go in there to get wingy and crinkle cuts.
The food is very good.
That's my
very
go-to.
good.
The challenge
wingy
there
crinkle
is
cuts.
when there's a live band, it is loud. It is really, really hard to maybe, go walk up and...
said, what is your name?
Yes.
Girl Next Door of the Year candidate from Jefferson County.
That sums it up.
What a wonderful competition it was, however.
Sassy Cassie is getting votes now.
Oh, one of Doug's favorites. You just like the sound, yeah?
Guys, there isn't a drop that sums the show up, but currently the fill-in producer does not have a mic, and the guest does not have a headset, and the show is chaos, and that sums the show up. That's the
Swinging
wedding
package of dynamite named Sassy Cassie.
Well, you got to support the sponsors.
James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency is online at carltoninsurance.net or call 314-961-4800. That is how you can reach James. And you call there right now, even though James is in here with us. They're members of his team right there in Webster Groves. And so many people have made the switch to James Carlton. Do it, and you will be thrilled with how much money you can save and the customer service you are going to get. James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. How about that, Doug? He's my guy. He's been my guy for 6 years, and I couldn't be more delighted.
He's a lot of people's guy.
A lot of TMA listeners.
A lot of 5-star reviews.
Amen. 4 to 25 or something like that, James.
For any listeners out there that own a business and want to get that message out, I cannot recommend the show enough. And I've dabbled other spaces. This is the holy grail. Speaking of sales guys, one of your sales guys legitimately thought that Jackson's family has a place in the Hamptons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, really? How great is that?
Well, I was a little new to the show a few months. I'm still new. But in the very early days, Tim kept saying Jackson had a purple Mini Cooper. So one day I said, why'd you go with the purple Mini Cooper? He said, what are you talking about? And I said, Tim, he goes, that's not real. Oh.
Yeah, the house in the Hamptons. And then I said, because they're members of the audience, more so maybe on Balloon Party, who were convinced that Jackson is like this raging liberal. And I said, why don't you say that you have a cat and you named it Michelle Obama? And so I believe that became a thing for a time period as well. And then he goes, no, I'm going to name it Caddy Bates. So it is amazing, Martin, some of the things that are said on the program that the listening audience then does believe actually is taking place, including Jackson's family's home in the Hamptons. What do we have here, Chairman?
He has the potential to be a great bull.
Great bull. Okay.
I think that was Jimmy the Bull talking about
yes,
Doug's potential to be a great bull.
He looked a little like Woodrow Wilson, that guy.
You ever see anybody who looks like Woodrow Wilson these days, Martin?
I can't say that I have.
Not a lot of people. James, I'm not surprised you've had success as a sponsor here because many of our listeners need lots of insurance. Lots of it.
I'm a big Francesa drop guy.
Yeah.
Those
I
are
think the
always
one where he
safe.
says, I want to come down. And once you guys played the whole bit and I understood just how mean it was even better because the guy just poured out his soul. Mike, I've been going through a divorce. I lost my job. I'd love to just come meet you. How's about I come down there and see him? Mike's, no. He didn't give it it was kind of like Angel Campos officiating a World Series game. You're out.
Hey, I want to ask you a big favor. How about I come up to the station on Friday? Could I come up and meet you?
No.
That was it. That was that. Mm-hmm.
The online dating scene sucks. The Bar K idea is great. I think I'll just open up my backyard and call it a dog park. If I see someone interesting, I'll go outside with a drink to offer them. That's from the female listener. How about that, Doug? That's a female listener.
But you say at this Bar K, the dogs run wild. They're not on leashes?
Yeah. Just like a dog park,
But they don't
Where
get,
is this place?
They don't get in fights?
It's right off of... Yeah, it's right off of Vandeventer and one of those north or east and west streets. I can't recall. McCree, maybe?
Okay.
But no, it's a big place, and it's got something for... There's actually a human-only area, so if you don't like dogs...
Humans are unleashed, just
Yes.
walking around?
Yes, there's the human-only area. There's restaurants, bars. It's a really, I think, neat concept, and I was thinking there when I was there the other day, if I just wanted to get out on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon and meet somebody, that would be a great starting spot, in my opinion.
Huh.
Yeah.
But you're not
think that's a good play.
No.
Not
For the
looking,
record.
just to clarify,
No, I
you're not looking
I
to.
shared that sentiment with her, my wife. She understands.
Chairman Steve was texting in wondering if you were looking to cheat on your wife and you were just taking it to the radio show.
I was trying not to read those, but I wanted to clarify to the audience that you're just kind of workshopping
Happily
this
married.
for others.
Although there was a point in your guys' radio career where there was a very high ad spend on a safe place to go cheat on your spouse.
Ashley Madison,
Yes.
I recall that, and of course, I was blamed for that ad running, and it wasn't even anything to do with TMA. I've been to Bar K. I could see how it would be an easy place to meet dates or friends. I met some nice ladies when I was there. Not looking for a date, though, Sharon and Clayton.
There you
Doug,
go.
I just
So
became even more interested in Sharon and Clayton's texts.
Sounds like a future episode.
Yeah.
The ladies go down to Bar K.
Wow. Her skin is soft like yours. That's the title of the episode.
It's your feet.
And they all have really little dogs on giant leashes.
The last thing I have for you, it's just on my mind, is
what's that?
I don't know what happened to X over the weekend, but all I have in my feed now, because that's the only social media I actually look at because of sports. I follow the sports content.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like Iranian propaganda. Like every tweet in my feed now is just these missiles, going up in the air and them trying to flex. Is there a way to ban that stuff? Or
What's going on with your Twitter feed?
I don't really follow.
hacked?
I don't follow politics. It's almost all sports, and I can't get any sports news this morning. It's just
Wow.
nonstop propaganda. I didn't know if anybody had ran into that and if there was a solution to it. Because I haven't gone the TikTok route. You kind of scare me with how much you like it.
Oh, I love it.
I'm kind of nervous about it.
Really love it. That's my go-to. My last time I looked at my Twitter feed, it clearly was 15 hours ago because they were the No Laying Up boys were talking about Tommy Fleet blowing his lead yesterday. So I didn't see this. I don't know if this is something other people are dealing with. Martin, Doug, are you guys experiencing this on the Twitter tweets?
I saw some of it, but I wanted to try to follow what was going on over there on X.
No, but this is like it's not even in English. All the captions.
that right?
I haven't had that.
So maybe I did get hacked.
You're getting spammed.
Yes, I'm getting spammed like crazy. So if there's any breaking
Tehran
news,
is targeting James Carlton.
So were you swayed,
on your
were you
Bar K.
swayed by any of this propaganda?
Iggy is in the YouTube chat right now. James, Doug, and I got to dine with Iggy at the Plowhawk's wedding on Saturday evening. And Iggy says, meet a girl holding a bag of crap. awesome. So it doesn't sound like he thinks it's going to be a great place to meet.
That's an interesting
to meet a
perspective.
lass.
I brought Kegler's
They actually have
cornerback,
people that work
and
in
it was
the
like the talk of the town.
How about this, James? Stepdad Gary said, same for me on Twitter.
Really? So this is something going on?
Dougie V's B-ball. It's the same.
That's BBL. That's Brazilian butt lift.
BBL.
Trying to get that sponsored.
It's
so it
the
doesn't cost me
same
anything.
for mine.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Wow, how about that?
The Iranian military Twitter has been saying tonight will be unlike any other, implying something going down for the last 2 weeks. Nothing's happened. LOL. I wouldn't LOL about Iran strike, but apparently you're not the only one getting spammed.
No, I don't want to take it in that direction necessarily. I was just wondering if anybody else was dealing with that on X, as I'm just trying to find out who the Blues are going to draft this morning. You know, that's about what I'm looking for.
Not cool, Iran. Leave James's feet alone. And now a stern warning has been fired back to them to leave you alone.
Somebody named Rumple Foreskin just followed me on Twitter.
Oh, no.
The JV golf coach, a star emailer, says my Twitter feed has been the same thing. Iranian military propaganda. It's bizarre. So this is, I didn't experience, but I haven't been on Twitter in 15 hours.
You're not
so
their
I
target audience like I am.
I guess not.
Easily swayed.
I am.
Sharon and Clayton says be sure your feed isn't set for the For You side.
Right. Are you on the following side or the For You? For You, Jackson says that is the septic tank of the septic tank.
They're targeting you.
Okay.
Following is just the people.
Yeah, that's
I come to learn from you guys. That's why I'm
that's what
you.
the show's always kind of been educational, hasn't it?
Right.
Clip that off. Kind of an
Yeah, For You.
See, you're on For You. Hit follow.
That's the first thing.
He's got a bomb going off. Hit following on the right there, and now it's just everything Tim says.
Look at that. Boobs galore. They really think that's for me. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
The algorithm's not as strong as TikTok, evidently.
I think the For You is rather loose when they say this is designed just for you, and then you just get spam like crazy.
I'm on a watch list now because that's what they think it's. Anyway.
James Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. He's my insurance agent, and we have fixed his Twitter feed for him.
Lovely.
So everybody is winning
Success
here. James, always great to see you,
Thank
brother.
you, gentlemen. Have a great week.
You too.
Thank
That's
you.
James Carlton. 314-961-4800. That is the number. Or go online at carltoninsurance.net. You can see the 425 plus 5-star reviews for James when you go to Google him. Can't say enough good things. I am so happy I made the switch 6 years ago. You will be as well. They'll do all the paperwork for you. James Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. The program is called The Morning After. You can email in for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. That's coming your way at about 10:45, 10:50. Brad Thompson is going to join us at 10:15. That is your Stiefel dossier. So that is what is coming up here on the program. This is TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
Together Credit Union wants to help you with your next mortgage. They're there the entire process. It's your hometown loan provider, Together Credit Union, with a loan for every buyer out there. Get in on the action, whether it's your first home, downsizing, sizing up, or need a second mortgage. Together Credit Union is there for you. Fixed rate, adjustable rate, conventional, jumbo loans, they have it all. They even have specialty loans, FHA, construction, union member mortgages, community, contributor mortgages, all of it, one umbrella, TCU. Together Credit Union knows that mortgage loans can get a little complicated. Going to help you throughout the entire process, and all of it done right here in town, done locally. Underwriting, servicing, everything here in town. Remember, Together Credit Union is your hometown home loan provider. Check out the rates at togethercu.org. Here's to making St. Louis your home. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
So this is in sync, Doug, right?
I don't know if it's in sync. I should, but I don't.
What do you think about the boy band craze of the late 90s, Doug?
It's an odd time in music.
You had TRL, and it was just like Korn and Limp Bizkit going head-to-head every day with NSYNC, Backstreet, Britney, Christina.
98 Degrees with Stan.
Yeah.
Who is the biggest of the boy bands?
I mean,
all time.
NSYNC?
I think that would be the answer.
Backstreet Boys?
I mean, I would like to... first boy band ever, go.
The Beatles.
The Mills Brothers.
Why wouldn't the Beatles be a boys band?
I was wondering, like, where you would go. Because to me, my mind goes to the Jackson 5. But would you say the Beatles? I think you can make a fair case.
Well, when you say boys, do you mean that's because they're young, like the Jackson 5? We're actually some boys. They were kids.
That's what I'm associating with.
AI says the Backstreet Boys, widely considered the biggest boy band of all time,
right?
sold over 100 million records worldwide. Other groups like NSYNC and One Direction achieved immense popularity. It's according to AI, Doug, never wrong.
Okay.
Backstreet Boys sustained success and global impact.
And they were, what, early 20s, no doubt, right?
Their ages?
Their age?
Yeah, when they made it big? Or were they younger than that?
I don't know. I know NSYNC, they had... Justin and those guys were typically, I think, early 20s, but then they had Chris Kirkpatrick, who I believe was about 45 years old at the time.
Oh, he was in there?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he was in there just in case the divorcees wanted to go.
So they were going for the
his
younger...
dad was the producer.
They were trying to entice the younger female listening audience, I guess. Or that's the big
And it worked.
demographic
Look at
that
us.
people shoot for.
Hold us all in.
It worked for me when I did Insectman at the talent show in 2002. That was the song, actually. And the choreography is just muscle memory. I hear that song, and it's almost impossible for me to not
break into your routine.
Doug Big Tuft has just sent in his Mount Rushmore of boy bands. This is huge. I didn't know if he was going to send it or not. Do you want to guess his Mount Rushmore of boy?
Gosh, I really could care less who he has. This is
That is the correct answer.
I think that is right, Mark. That is the right answer. Jackson 5, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and New Kids on the Block.
Okay.
I recognize this is personal bias, but I need New Edition in there. Now, would the general public put New Edition in there? No. But for my list, I would. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, if I love the girl, who cares who you like? Think about that. What are you thinking when I say...
I don't want to think that.
No,
the Osmonds was a boy band, right? Silence. You guys don't remember the Osmonds?
How old are you?
I don't really remember the Osmonds.
You don't?
No.
Donny Osmond, you never heard that name?
I know about him, but I don't remember.
Not sing with him?
Later, yeah, they stopped. Yeah, everyone liked Donny Osmond, so he kind of went solo, and everyone loved Marie Osmond, so they went together, and and the other brothers kind of got left out.
Take your...
And the Bee Gees, would that be a boy band?
And you rode on a boat with Andy Gibb and went fishing?
Did. Yeah.
And it was you, him, and Michael Irvin and Howard Schnellenberger?
No, Howard Schnellenberger was not there.
But Irvin was.
No, he was not.
You specified that Schnellenberger one.
No.
Doug, what about this? Maybe this will change your mind on 98 Degrees not being in Big Tuft's Mount Rushmore. He writes that Nick Lachey had a delicious Adonis belt, which are the V-shaped grooves formed by the ingenual ligaments and ab muscles. Daddy likey.
Okay.
It comes from Deke Dodo.
I have spent my entire life trying to get those muscles.
How do you get those muscles, Doug? You have them. How do you get...
It just comes natural. Good genes.
Is that the adductor or the abductor?
Oh, gosh.
Right, Matthew Kachuk.
So confusing.
What about Boys to Men or Belle Biv DeVoe? That's Sharon in Clayton.
Okay. Well, you just kind of like who you like.
Some people like some things. Some
It's
people
so subjective, yeah. One person thinks certain music is horrible, the next guy loves it, so... Oh, well.
A lot of support from Menudo coming in. Martin, then.
Yeah, they were one of the first ones, yeah.
That was, of course, Ricky Martin. Menudo. Let's see. There needs to be more Boys to Men love given here. People are mad. Boys to Men has not been mentioned. Would you like to apologize for?
Yeah, we were wrong, and we didn't realize it at the time. We meant no harm, but now it seems that we've really overturned an apple cart or two, and we're going to take some time away. We are so sorry. Never meant to hurt anyone with that.
This is Motown Philly, 1991?
I don't know the years.
An End of the Road came out in 92, and then Whitney Houston broke their record for longest single #1 with I Will Always Love You with The Bodyguard. Am I right on that?
I don't know, Tim.
Has anybody broken that record since?
Favorite boy band? Metallica. Go. I think we've taken this genre and we've widened the definition just a little bit, it seems.
The Beach Boys, was that a boy band? We don't know even what the definition of a boy band is.
That's the issue. But
Doug, what about Hanson?
What about
Jerkwood from Kirkwood?
Okay, stop it, Jerkwood.
Do they have to be little boys? KG, is this the theme today, boy band?
Here's Bop. 97? 97?
I don't know the years, Tim.
It is 97. You ever heard of the fundraiser, Doug, called Stop the Bop?
No, I have not.
In a school building, you play this on loop over the intercom system until you reach like a fundraising goal. It's like Chinese water torture.
You drive people crazy with it. Okay, here's my money. They do that at schools.
I've heard of it being done.
They're trying to fleece the third graders?
Not elementary schools.
Oh. Okay. How about the Communards? Was that a boys band?
Yeah, I think so. I think that should be the George
One of
Washington.
my all-time favorites.
Yeah, email in for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. That's coming your way the morning after at InsideSTL.com. In about an hour, also in the 10 o'clock hour, we will be joined by Brad Thompson. This is starting to get a little momentum. Joe Davis, Doug, who is now Fox's baseball announcer, gave this opinion that the balls are flying out of the ballpark for one obvious reason. Here's what he had to say.
Okay.
Not necessarily this year, but as the years go on.
Here's a high fly ball to deep right center field, and Nathaniel Lowe's hit his second bomb of the game.
Ball sure is carrying tonight, huh, Joe?
Sure is, man. I think these things are juiced.
It really is crazy that the first couple innings, it just did not seem like the ball was going anywhere. Then all of a sudden, it's become a derby.
Did he say these eggs are goosed? Is that what he said?
There's no way to know.
Okay.
Andrew McCutcheon said earlier in the year that an MLB representative told him that the baseballs this year have higher seams, which could potentially lead to more drag. But according to USA Today, MLB has stated that their examination of game balls shows no significant changes from the previous year. Concerns about higher seams and increased drag have been raised, but MLB is reportedly investigating the issue and saying they did not find any difference.
Okay. It is hard to believe year after year we seem to have this discussion that they can't come up with a baseball that's made identically every year. The balls seem to be different. And it seemed like with technology, we ought to be able to manufacture the exact same baseball.
You would think so. I remember talking to Red Shandings during the summer of '98 and was thinking, I'm 21 years old. You're just thinking he's going to give you this is great. What a fun time for baseball. And I said, so what do you think? What do you think about McGuire and Sammy Sosa, Red? And he goes, well, the balls are juiced to start with. So I'm like, no! So he wasn't that excited about it, I guess.
They do all seem to know, people in the game, when there's a real difference. But wouldn't more players be hitting more home runs? I mean, the Cardinals, Arenado leads the Cardinals with 10. That's not robust.
I guess you'd have to see what the league number is to get a sense of that.
Like, are the league, if I asked Jackson to do that, he would.
Dodgers have hit 123 home runs. And the Cardinals are at way at the bottom, 74. So the Dodgers, close to hitting twice as many home runs as the Cardinals.
According to AI, yes, in 2025, Major League Baseball home run numbers are up compared to previous seasons, specifically the top home run hitters. Several teams have also seen an increase in home runs allowed, indicating a potentially higher overall number of home runs in the league. That's just sort of a generic response. Thank you, AI.
Yeah, the Cardinals are way down on that list, 24th out of 30th on home runs. What team do you think has the least home runs? I think, Doug, you might have it in front of you. That makes you ineligible.
I see it.
You want to fire a bet at the pot?
Well, the Rockies are the worst team, but it's Coors Field.
Yes, you are correct. The Rockies are not.
All right, so I'm taking them off the table. Terrible teams. I'll just say the A's. I don't know.
The A's are not the answer. The Pittsburgh Pirates are. The A's are actually 8th. And the thought for those of you who enjoy a wager or playing daily fantasy sports is that ballpark, has turned out to be a hitter's park in Sacramento.
And maybe it's because the Pirates aren't using the juiced balls, Doug. You think that's why?
I think they have a lousy team.
Oh, okay.
That's probably got more to do with it.
Okay.
Text in 314-399-9646. That's how you can get involved in the program and partake by texting in. You can call in as well, 314-974-0101, and email in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, which comes your way at approximately 10:50, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Coming up, a unique moment that has alienated a number of people who were fans of this team, and it took place yesterday. We will have the audio for you and the explanation that is coming your way next, Doug. I just got better at teasing.
Okay.
This is TMA, and it's presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
This is Chairman Kurt with another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. On the PGA Tour yesterday at the Travelers Championship, oh, captain, my captain, Keegan Bradley, minus 15, ekes out Russell Henley and Tommy Fleetwood to take that one down. We'll see if he makes the Ryder Cup team as a player captain. That was another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See him at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Mr. Telephone Man brings us back here in the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour. It's 101 ESPN. The show is TMA. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne, and Chairman Kurt on the ones and twos with Jackson Burkett vacationing. Little Jackie Papers will be back tomorrow. We have been joined by Chris Kerber. Coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, we'll be joined by Brad Thompson. There's your Stiefel dossier. The Panthers, Doug, had their parade yesterday. Now, what happens when you win a couple of championships in any sport back to back, you start to become the bad guy. That's the nature of the beast. Success breeds envy. But there are some words that are being said by a variety of the players that have now gotten people who used to like the team a little more irritated. They really don't like him in Edmonton, where the last 5 days has featured quite a bit of trolling of the Oilers. And then you had Sam Bennett yesterday speaking at the Stanley Cup parade in South Florida. Here is what he had to say.
Okay.
A lot of people they don't like the way we play. They don't like... They call us dirty. They call us nasty. They call us bullies. So no, I would like to take this time to apologize to absolutely no one. We're the double champs. We do what the we want. Let's go.
It sounded like he had a few maybe nips at the cooking sherry.
Cooking sherry. Is that what they put in the cup these days?
Yeah. Cooking sherry. That's correct.
Go!
See, that's what was the tell right there. That wasn't a real strong and forceful go. That was I'm plastered kind of go. Well, they are a team of agitators for sure, but it's worked for them really well.
So they won't be able to sign him in St. Louis. Sam Bennett after that. Yeah. Can't have that around here.
We don't want potty mouths on our club.
Doesn't matter what he brings to the table.
Kachuk said the same thing, that the BTB champs can do whatever they want. Doug, you like that BTB?
No, you've got time to say back
Sharon
to back.
And Clayton.
Let's go!
Feels like he's falling off a cliff.
Well, they should probably keep it clean in front of thousands of people. 400,000 people there. It's not that hard to get your message across without cursing.
That go kind of reminded me of something, Doug.
What?
I know a lot about Pennsylvania, and it's great. How's Joe Paterno? We going to bring that back, right?
You could literally hear a woman falling down the upper deck.
How about that whole deal?
I think that just kind of sums it up, doesn't
Your
it?
beloved coach, his reputation tarnished and trashed, and that's what you bring up.
Double champs is unacceptable when the clearly preferred phrase is back-to-back champs. That's from Dougie V's BBL.
Okay.
Maybe they're coining their own phrase.
That's such a terrible example for the young fans. It's very Hoosier conduct. That's from Pele Blanco.
I don't like mosquitoes.
I think it is kind of Hoosier conduct to curse in a public setting like that. I know we've all heard the words, but there should still be some decorum.
You see Bennett drop the Wolf of Wall Street line, I'm not effing leaving. Well, we don't want him. That's from the horny baker. Guys, will the cup be heading to OBs? That's from the Jerkwood from Kirkwood. What do you think, Martin? Matthew brought it around. He brought it to Grassi's, friend of the show. Grassi's big TMA listeners over there. Brought it to Chaminade, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if you did all of that last year, do you do something different this year?
Yeah, probably
paraded around South Florida with your new friends there. I'm still going to say it's here. I think it's still becoming here.
Yeah, I would think so.
Got his wedding, but I don't think he can do it at the wedding. It's like inviting Doug to be the official because then that kind of upstages everything.
Yeah.
Can't have the cup at the wedding.
Well, he doesn't he have a house here? He probably still lives full time in Florida. So what would he be doing much of the time in St. Louis?
Who, Matthew?
Yeah.
Well, he's got a house here. So he splits time.
Oh.
But I'm saying if you did all of those stops, he went to the hospital, saw some sick kids, went to Obi's, Grassi's, went to Chaminade. What do you do the next time around? What a great problem to have.
Mm-hmm. I think he probably
wants to bring it by
else.
here.
I would think when he texted you, so...
Yeah, it was very heartfelt. I felt it emotional. Dear friend, thank you for your kind comments.
To whom it may concern. Thank you.
To whom it may concern.
No, you.
If that were Braden Shen saying it, we would all love it. Get off your high horse, Doug! That's from Shafty McShamus.
Well, stop it, Shafty. No matter who it is, you don't have to talk like that way in public.
Gosh darn it, my prostate.
That was a play on Conor McGregor's "The Double Champ Does What He Wants." That's from Doug Glatt.
All right, Glatzy. I would think if I was Kachuk, I'd go to other places, I think. You might kind of even lose
Take it to the docks in Boston with Grandma Kachuk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, someplace like that. They'd love it.
Guys, I'm pretty sure some Blues players dropped an F-bomb or two on stage under the arch. Hell, Sanford puked in a car. Good Lord. Take the mangy kids to the McPlay place if you can't handle a little celebratory cursing. That's Sharon and Clayton. Doug, this is going to be tough for you guys working together on The Real Housewives.
It is. Just, well, there's no point arguing that.
You'd prefer they don't do it, but if it happens, it's not the end of the world.
Not everybody is a beer-guzzling frat boy. You can't always try to reach just that crowd.
Well, maybe they weren't reaching that crowd. They were just being themselves.
Glory! Because they're in that stage of life where they, too, are beer-drinking frat boys.
Yeah.
If you win, you get to make the rules. You don't like it, you beat them. That's from Brett Hall's Mullet.
Okay.
Classic. Go to bat.
That's an all-timer. All right, text in 314-399-9646. Call in 314-974-0101. Collier and Thompson phone lines. Doug, how do you feel about the big rigs you're effed being a staple in the city? That's from the 314.
I'm not sure I understand that sentence.
It was game 2 against the Bruins, and Patty Maroon skated by the Bruins bench and said, "You guys are so effed." I believe it was game 2.
Oh, if you got athletes yelling at each other, I've got no problem with that. Just if you're in a public forum, if you're on TV or speaking before a large crowd, I don't think you ought to be dropping F-bombs. That's all I'm saying.
Take me to Pleasure Town, Vaughn.
Okay, stop it, Hoffman.
It's Brian Hoffman right there.
I think was it Huffman? Frank called him Huffman for 10 years. Last name Hoffman. Brian Hoffman. Did Paul Maurice have anything to say? Why didn't he set the rules?
He did. He talked about wearing a shirt with 2 cats.
He likes to set all the rules.
Good morning. I hate Tommy Fleetwood. All right, that's from the 314. Doug, I don't know what brought that on.
Like
He seems like a very likable sort. He just has a tough time when he's trying to win a PGA Tour event, which he still has not been able to do. We were discussing that during the commercial break. I have no idea why. My guess is the hair. My son's favorite golfer since I can recall, this goes back to 2020, and he's only 7, has been Tommy Fleetwood. And Tommy Fleetwood had a 3-stroke lead yesterday going into the final round. And unfortunately, Doug, he folded up like a $2 bill.
Well, despite having never won, I see he has career earnings of $38 million.
So he's going to be okay?
He'll be fine. Yeah, he'll be fine.
He had a ball right in the middle of the fairway. Martin, I think he was 145-ish yards out. And all he had to do was par at worst to get to a playoff if Keegan Bradley were to birdie. And if Keegan Bradley were not to birdie and Fleetwood did par, he would have won his first PGA Tour event. Instead, he left his wedge well short and then he proceeded to 3-putt from just off the green. Keegan Bradley sank the birdie putt, and the New Englander won in New England for the second time in 3 years. Tommy Fleetwood still searching for his first PGA Tour win. Here is what Tommy Fleet had to say about falling apart on Sunday.
All right, I'm upset now. I'm gutted. I'm angry. When it calms down, look at the things that I did well. Look at the things that I can learn from. I said yesterday, I haven't been in this position all year, so it's been a while. Felt like I did a lot of good things, but there was things that I, definitely can do better, and I have to do better. So, the most stupid thing to do and the worst thing to do would be make a week like this a hindrance to what you do going forwards. I obviously played great. I put myself in a great position. I was leading the tournament of 71 holes. I just want to, make sure that I can put myself in this position as soon as possible again, and try and correct what I did this time. But like I say, right now I would love to, just go and sulk somewhere, and maybe I will do. But there's just no point making it a negative for the future, really, and take the positives and move on.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good way to approach it.
It's golfer mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Got to deal with it. But man, that was rough, that 18th hole. But I mean, it started on number one. He was not right. The pressure got to him, and perhaps he will have success here in a few weeks, Doug, when they head to Portrush for the Open.
I like to call it the British Open,
but it's not called that.
Just the Open. I think is a little huffy.
Huffy.
It's too huffy.
I had a huffy, I believe, and some kids had mongooses.
Bicycle, yeah. Stingrays. We had Stingrays with the big handles.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Small bikes with big handles.
Had to have that little pad down the middle bar there.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, from the 618, I'm gutted for Tommy boy, but my captain, the Ryder Cup captain, Keegan Bradley, sinks the putt, and now he's got a decision to make. He might be a playing captain.
Mm-hmm. I see he's won twice in the last 10 months. That makes him right behind Scotty Scheffler as the most wins among any American over the last year.
It's going to be quite a little spot. Now, he was asked about it yesterday, and he said that they have prepared for it should it happen. He said if he did not win yesterday, he was not going to put himself on the team. He says, my responsibility is to put the best team out there, and if I feel like that I'm going to be giving us the best chance to win, then I would do it. And then some of his assistants, like Jim Furyk, Webb Simpson, and Brent Snedeker, would play a role, but he would still be the captain, even if he is playing.
May I do some crowdsourcing?
I am in the business of crowdsourcing.
Who decides who the captain is? Who makes that call?
The TMA fan page.
I don't think so. And did the players vote, or PGA Tour?
I don't know, Doug.
The PGA of America's Executive Committee selects the U.S. Ryder Cup captain according to the First Call Golf. It's comprised of 21 golf stakeholders, and then the captain is responsible for managing the team, selecting captain's picks, and other logistical aspects of the event.
Okay.
The PGA of America.
Well, if he gets to pick and he just won a tournament, wouldn't you pick yourself? I would think you would.
How about this? I got a trivia question for you. When is the last time the United States had a captain who played in the Ryder Cup?
Can I have initials, please?
Shane Stewart.
No.
Tiger Woods.
He has not been a captain.
Initials, please.
Jim Furyk.
No.
Tom Watson.
Nope.
Fred Couples.
No.
Dow Fensterwald.
Oh, wow.
Arnold Palmer, 1963.
Oh, really?
Arnold Palmer in 1963, and he was 34. I typed this into AI, and it also said the prevailing sentiment is that it's too demanding to captain the team and also compete as a player. So AI is anti-Keegan Bradley putting himself.
What do you really have to do as a captain?
Oh! What about the job Luke Donald did in Rome?
Okay, what is he doing?
What about the job he did?
What is he? Is he coaching the players? You're just making the schedule, probably, right? You do that a night before, maybe a month before, and then you play.
What about the job Dodo Molinari did for the European team?
What did he do?
He got all the data.
I can't imagine there's a whole lot to it. I would think it's more of a ceremonial thing than anything.
So you're.
I mean, he's not walking around hole by hole saying, no, you got the wrong club there. Okay, you figure out who's going to play together.
I have to say, even though I am a golf nerd, the whole thing, when Keegan Bradley was asked yesterday about it, he goes, the only time I've stopped thinking about being captain is when I'm on the golf course. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what he's thinking about.
Right, what do you have to do?
Pairings, pressure.
You just put the guys out there, right? And they play. And the TV focuses on your face, looking worried when a shot goes
with a headset,
bad, looking very happy, and then doing interviews every now and then, like you really got something to do with what's going on. Got nothing to do with what's going on.
I think Tim should make the Ryder Cup team. Thanks. That's from the recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Webster Groves.
Maybe they should make the captain like an older retired player.
Well, usually that's what it's been.
Like a Jack Nicklaus or somebody, in their 60s or something who they're not going to play, but everybody has great respect for. Be an impartial observer.
Well, they switched it up because the Zach Johnson thing went so poorly, and Bradley was thought to be likely to make that team, didn't make that team, and so I think they wanted to switch it to get a younger guy in there, but weren't really thinking he would be in the mix to play, and here he is, and now at this moment he is 8th in the point standings as far as Americans go, and so he could really wind up making that team, could force the hand. So, yeah.
It does seem like they always had veteran golfers. Ben Crenshaw, Curtis Strange, Hal Sutton, Tom Lehman, Paul Azinger, and I'm not sure their exact age when they did it, but even Corey Pavin in 2010 would have been an older golfer. Davis Love, Watson did it again, Davis Love again, Jim Furyk, Steve Stricker, those kind of guys who've been around.
I would imagine Tiger's going to do it at some point.
They have to have asked him, and he's just like, no,
I don't know what the situation seems inevitable. You would have said Mickelson. I don't know what'll wind up be going on between the tour and Live by the time that would roll around. But I mean, at this point, Mickelson's like 15 years older than Keegan, but they play together all the time. Wonderful gamblers. Jack Nicklaus is in his 60s, Doug? That's from Yassil the Boy Puig.
No, he's probably in his 80s by now, I would think. I'm not saying they should make him the captain now. I'm saying 20 years ago, maybe.
You want a hot take? You want a hot take?
Yeah. Here's a hot take. Why in the world are we worried about who the captain is of the Ryder Cup team? Everything going on in the world, and this is our concern? When you just kind of sit there and make the schedule? What a thing to worry about.
Well, Keegan Bradley said it's all he's been thinking about for the last year. It's been a year since he was named the captain.
I think he's overthinking it.
I think, what's he supposed to be doing to prepare?
Maybe take a look at what the frog's hair's doing.
And what? The player playing is going to have to make the decision how he hits it.
I think you're underestimating this move. I have to tell you, I don't understand it either. And like when a team does well, what a great job captaining. It's like, I mean, wasn't the guys?
Yeah, it's like,
man, a guy misses a 10-footer, and that's on the captain.
Oh, yeah.
Guy makes a 12-footer.
Yeah.
It's a great job by the captain.
Was Keegan the one that Zach Johnson had to leave off, and it was part of that?
The Full Swing on Netflix. That's exactly right. Martin, it's 10:05. That means onboarding is underway, and you will have to exit. Brad Thompson is going to join us coming up at 10:15 on the Stiefel Dossier. Then we have the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. The program is called TMA, and it airs on 101 ESPN. TMA 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn with you here in the 10 o'clock hour. Martin had to leave for onboarding. And he'll be back tomorrow along with little Jackie Papers. Doug, Chairman Kurt filling in on the board today with Jackson vacationing in the Cape Cod for Sweet Kai's wedding. We're fresh off the Plowhawk's wedding. And we welcome Brad Thompson to the program coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. In addition to the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, there is your Stiefel dossier. Doug, did you see Alexandra Daddario at the Pirates game?
You were talking about that in the break. No, you said that you saw her.
You were at the Cardinals and Reds game.
That's right. That was a game I attended.
But why? Why? She wasn't at the Cardinal game, was she?
I decided not to go to the Pirates game yesterday.
Yeah, but you were watching on MLB at Bat, you said.
I wasn't.
Oh.
Well, I don't understand the text. Doug went to the Cardinals and Reds, downtown St. Louis. Now, the Pirates, nobody's playing better than the Pirates.
Right.
Now, I don't know if Alexandra Daddario was at the game. I don't know what Doug has to do with Alexandra Daddario being at the Pirates game. I'll type in Alexandra Daddario and Pirates.
Oh.
She did. She threw out the first pitch.
Okay. How'd she throw it? Pretty good?
It looks like it was a nice pitch.
Okay, good.
Alexandra Daddario did spend time in St. Louis when she shot the film The Layover. Did you ever see the film The Layover?
Was that with George Clooney?
That was Up in the Air, shot in 2009.
Yeah, no, I don't think I saw The Layover.
The Layover also has an airplane theme. It was her and Kate Upton, and the film, according to Rotten Tomatoes, holds an audience approval rating of 0%.
Oh, no.
So safe to say goodorbad.com would probably have that as bad.
You never know with goodorbad.com. It's pre-revenue. With an average critics rating of 2.1 out of 10. Let's see. Richard Roper, writing for the Chicago Sun-Times, compared the film to the unpleasantness of enduring a layover at O'Hare International Airport, and he decried the performance of Kate Upton and expressed surprise that William H. Macy could be responsible for directing such, quote, an unholy mess.
Oh.
I like kittens and bunny.
Bunny. Just one bunny.
That's correct. Kittens, plural. The bunny, singular. And the layover is an unholy mess, per the Chicago Sun-Times. And this is Alexandra Daddario, who Doug did not see at the Pirates game.
I didn't see him or her.
Well, that's a bummer.
But he did see the Reds and the Cardinals yesterday.
Yeah, that's what game I chose to watch. No.
You take your shirt off?
So this question that came in was whether I had seen her in Pittsburgh.
I looked it up and I go, okay, well now I gotta see if she was here. No, she wasn't. And I know that you went to the game with your son yesterday.
That's right. Yeah.
And we talked about that in the 7 o'clock hour. So I was like, oh, I wonder why Alexandra Daddario was here. But she wasn't. He was asking about, I assume it was a he, you never know, was asking about the Pirates game. Pirates, of course, not here yesterday. The Reds were.
Reds were here. Yeah.
They love the fans, not money.
But Alexandra Daddario, as it turns out, did throw out the first pitch.
Okay, so what? What do you want from me? I did not see it. I went to the Redbird game. And I would do it again if given the chance.
I've got hair that people would die to have.
If I never see this gal again, it'll be too soon. Why would anyone be concerned about such a thing?
Braden Sheen.
Why would anyone ask me a question like that?
I saw her live Insta-feed on the field. Hot. That's the Jerkwood from Kirkwood.
Okay.
Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
I'd rather see Pfeiffer. At this point, I really would rather see Pfeiffer.
Doug.
What?
Stop your crap right now.
The layover still trumps most of Wes Anderson's insufferable catalog. That's from a new poll eligible. And even when Jackson's not here, his love of Wes Anderson films takes heat, all because of Alexandra Daddario being at the Pirates game and throwing out the first pitch. A game, of course, that Doug was not at yesterday.
You mean to tell me that Jose Buto can't come on?
I don't know Jose Buto either. I know he's a reliever, but I didn't see him pitch.
Doug did not say hi to me during the Cardinals game. What the hell? Any Hoodles, did y'all hear who threw out the first pitch at the Pirates game over the weekend? Doug, that's from Brian Henshin, and he has a column this morning on the Pacers losing last night in Oklahoma City.
Okay. Gosh.
Brad Thompson will give us his thoughts on the Pirates game yesterday.
He won't care either.
He will also give us his thoughts on the Cardinals and the Reds. That's coming up next. This is TMA 101 ESPN. Hey, St. Louis, Tim McKernan here with you to talk about aesthetic, design, and build. They have been building high-quality custom decks and outdoor living spaces now for over 30 years. Dan and his team have a showroom in Chesterfield Valley. They walked me through all the different types of custom work they are capable of doing, from a full-on custom deck, adding on a pergola, or even looking to shade your covered patio with retractable screens. They really do have answers for it all. You can call them at 636-532-5008 or visit them online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com. They really are a design company that can think outside the box and offer unique solutions and designs for your outdoor living projects. Ready to take your outdoor space to the next level? Dan and his team at Aesthetic Design and Build have you covered. Call them at 636-532-5008 or visit them online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com and let them know I sent you their way. This transports you back to 1998, doesn't it?
Well, if you say so. I don't know the years, Tim.
Have you ever seen the interview with Brian Luttrell in which he explains that he doesn't really know what that way is that he wants?
No, I missed it, just like I missed Alexandria Daddario at the Pirates game.
Brian Luttrell was at the Detroit Tigers game yesterday.
How about that? Daddario at the Pirates game?
Well, I missed that, too.
You think Brad Thompson likes NSYNC or Backstreet Boys better?
That's a great question. The good news is we can ask him ourselves. He's on the Collier and Thompson phone lines here on TMA 101 ESPN. Morning, Brad.
Guys, good morning. I'm just mentally at a high school dance right now after that. I mean, that's awkwardly standing in the corner, guys on one side, girls on the other, and somebody's going to meet in the middle at some point. That's just good, clean fun right there.
That is, isn't it? Yeah, what was the high school dance scene like in Vegas in 98?
Oh, I mean, it was hot. I mean, it was the scene. It was the place to be. It was probably a lot like everyone else's, but maybe a bigger gym. I mean, we had, I think my graduating class was like almost 900 kids. I don't know what is a normal class around here. So, but the good old days. And I don't have a favorite between those two. Which one was that? Was that NSYNC?
That was Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, that's my fault. That's I know all the songs, but I don't have a favorite between the two. Do you guys? Is there a consensus in the building?
Doug loves 98 Degrees and Nick Lachey, who would sometimes hang around the ballpark. Did you get a chance to meet Nick when he was?
No,
in town?
Man, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. You know, the stars don't ever make it up to us.
Well, he was when you were playing. He would hang around the clubhouse, and Edmonds and Spezio loved to give him a tour. That's what I remember.
Well, yeah, I don't remember Nick Lachey hanging out. I remember Shaq when he came in hanging out. That was unbelievable. Billy Bob Thornton was a big Cardinal guy. He'd be around every once in a while. Yes, of course. Yeah. But yeah, I missed Nick Lachey somehow.
What was the interaction like with Shaquille O'Neal?
Well, remember when he did that TV show,
yes.
that Shaq versus?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So he did a Shaq versus Albert, and it was like a home run derby. But Shaq, like everything that you see on TV with that guy of him just being like genuine nice dude, he hung out in the clubhouse in the food room for hours and just telling stories and everybody hanging around. And you'll have to ask Matt Holliday about this because there is a picture of Shaq holding Matt, who is a large human, and Matt looks as if he's a baby in the arms of Shaquille O'Neal. It's one of my favorite pictures that I've ever seen. So you're going to have to see if you can get that one from Holliday.
I'd love to see that. Brad Thompson is with us every Monday here on TMA. And it has finally arrived, a series that we have had circled here for a while. Cardinals and Cubs, 4-game series. And this is one that I know a lot of fans have been waiting for as well. What is your expectation this week for this one?
Yeah, I expect hard-fought battles. I mean, look, you got two clubs that are very good. The Cubs did a really good job of taking care of business on their end, and they've got some sluggers, and they've got a young new star in Pete Crow Armstrong. And why wouldn't Ian Happ be getting hot right now? The Cardinal killer himself is on a tear, so that part of it's going to be fun. But when we looked at the schedule at the beginning of the season, first of all, as you guys did, there was a lot of scrolling until you got here. And then the thought was, okay, well, we don't know exactly what the Cardinals are going to be. We know what people expect the Cubs to be. Is this series, is it even going to mean something? Is it going to feel like a Cardinals-Cubs series when it finally rolls around? And the answer is absolutely yes. Cardinals are playing some good baseball. They won 5 out of their last 6. They're 4.5 games back of the Cubs with a 4-game series. Got a chance to be nipping at their heels. Like, that's kind of all you can root for. I know it's going to be a hot week at the stadium. It was a crazy hot weekend. I'm actually at the stadium right now chasing around Fredbird for, I would say, an Emmy Award-worthy show.
Oh, wow. I think so. Yeah.
Some would say. Now, I don't think we have a category, so that ends up being a problem. But it's going to be a great vibe down here. I expect a lot of Cubs fans to come down for this one. I hope a lot of Cardinal fans are showing out. I expect a fun weekend.
We like logistics talk on this show. Do you get air conditioning up in the booths when you're doing these games?
So, all right, that is a great question. There is in the room there is air conditioning, but as you know, our window and it's a whole front that is open. So if you're sitting in the back part of our studio, you would feel the air conditioning a little bit. If you're on the front, you don't. So we have some shade, but it is very hot. But they do a great job. We got fans, and we don't have to play. All we have to do is yap. But it is nice and toasty. I have not pulled and neither has Chip, a Harry Carey down to the boxers just yet. Yeah. I would say it's in play at some point if the week continues to feel like this. The last 2 days, I felt bad for my guy Fred Bird. I don't know how he made it through. I thought we were going to have to get a new Hall of Famer. But it's logistics-wise, there is some AC, but it's very tough to feel.
Yeah, those home plate umps have got it rough, too. CB Buckner almost didn't get through that game on Saturday. Extra innings on top of everything else.
CB, I believe he's in his 60s, which, by the way, I hope I'm in as good a shape as CB. Well, I'm not in as good a shape as CB is now in my 40s. So it was impressive what he was able to do. We all know that sometimes it's about a flip of a coin with CB Buckner back there. It became even more so as the game went on. But he was a trooper during that one. I was talking to some of the umpiring crew. And they were telling me about gel inserts that they can put under their shirts to try to keep them cooled down during the games. But it is a lot. Those guys have nowhere to go. At least players, you can get off the field, you can go into the clubhouse when your team is hitting. Those guys don't have anywhere to go. So as much as we like to give crap to the umpires, they're working their butts off, and hopefully they stay cool out here this week too.
Brad Thompson, our guest here on TMA. Ivan Herrera news, certainly disappointing, especially at this time with the Cubs coming to town. What are your thoughts on both the injury and what the Cardinals will attempt to do to try to replace him?
Yeah, look, there's no good thing that comes out of Ivan Herrera missing any time, and you just hope it's the lower end of the time scale than it is the higher end of the time scale. But with hamstrings, you just don't know. Now, you are encouraged with the fact that last time when Herrera went on the IL, he came back and didn't seem to miss a beat. I mean, he was out there hitting right off the bat, but he's been your most productive and consistent offensive player. So that part stinks. We also know this, though. Nobody feels bad for the Cardinals or anybody when they lose a player. You better have some depth. That depth is going to get tested. And it's nice that others have stepped up. You look at what Alec Burleson has done in the last month. He's hitting almost 400 in June. The guy has been insane with what he's doing right now. So whether you're putting him in left field, right field, first base, DH, he's going to be in that lineup each and every night, and he deserves to be. It's also nice to see Nolan Arenado heat up. That was a huge home run to tie it in the ninth the other day. You really need your veterans to step up. Contreras has been a lot better. So other guys are going to be given some opportunities. I think that Gorman is an interesting one to watch, too. Like, what do those at-bats look like for him? Does he continue to get more and more of them? How do they utilize the JC? But your big dog's got to do the lifting at this point. Donnie has been one of the most consistent performers in all of baseball this season. You're starting to see some more positive signs out of Lars Nootbaar, too, which you need badly with Herrera out. You need another guy with that on-base skill and a guy that can drive the baseball. So top to bottom, there hasn't been one quote-unquote star all season, although Herrera has been awesome for you for this offense. I think that's just the biggest key is doing what you can on an individual basis and trusting the guy behind you will get the job done as well.
We'll probably see a little more of Joel Pozo, but he hits usually. When he gets a shot, he usually delivers.
I loved his interview with Jim Hayes afterwards when he asked, hey, Joel, what was your approach? And he starts laughing. He goes, I don't have an approach. Like, he just hits. That's all he does. The guy just goes out there and hits. And he does have a unique ability to keep his bat in the zone for a long time. Like, that is a great trait to have. While his weight might be going forward, while he might be a little off stride on the pitch, he's able to keep his hands back and the bat through the zone. That one was the RBI single, his first ever to the right side. You guys know Pozo's story. He's as easy of a person to root for in the world as anybody. So you're right. He'll probably end up getting some more reps here. Pajes, like he was, is going to get the lion's share of the duties behind the plate. They love him, but they like what Pozo brings back there too, and they certainly like the bat. Now, one thing that does change for you a little bit is going to the bench and using that bat. You're a little bit more reluctant with Pozo due to the fact that he's your second catcher now. I know in an emergency, I guess you could use Contreras. I know they're reluctant to do that, though. But he has been such a bright spot and a good story.
Brad Thompson, our guest here on TMA 101 ESPN. Cardinals taking 2 of 3 from the Reds, and that sets things up for the showdown here in the National League Central this week with the Cubs coming to town. The Cubs' success, a lot of it has been offensive. They have slowed down a bit this month. They have faced some really good pitching. Getting ready for this game and this series, Brad, what stands out to you about the Cubs' success so far to give them that 3.5-game lead over the Brewers and 4.5-game lead over the Cardinals?
Yeah, look, I think that there's a couple of things. First of all, you're right. Offensively, they've got 2 20-home run guys. Pete Crow-Armstrong has been great. Seiya Suzuki. Kyle Tucker, I think he's got 15. They've got some power, and as we mentioned, Ian Happ. So you really do have to worry about this club offensively. You got to execute pitches. And just like the Cardinals always do, you got to play tight defense, because if you don't, this team's going to beat you. Defensively, watching some of their games over the weekend, Seattle put a little pressure on them. They bent a bit. Now, the wind was blowing out yesterday like crazy over at Wrigley, so it was a bit of a home run derby against those guys. But the pitching has kind of been middling for them. They do get a boost getting Shoto Imanaga back, so that will end up helping them quite a bit. But they're a good ball club. I think that Craig Counsell does a really good job with his group of having them ready, having them prepared. We'll see what tweaks, if any, they end up making at the deadline if they get healthier and healthier. But what stands out to me is just they're going to grind. I mean, that's exactly what the Cardinals are going to do too. I see these being 2 games or 3 or 4 games. I'm sorry, a series where these teams are going to fight it out tooth and nail, and that's what Cardinal fans want to see. That's what Cubs fans want to see.
You mentioned how Alec Burleson has torn it up here over the last month or so. Aside from him, they're not getting a whole lot of offense out of that outfield in general. You think that's going to have to change if they're going to have a chance to stay in the race all the way?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. I mean, you need more offense top to bottom. And for different guys, it's different things. For Victor Scott II, it's continuing to utilize your skill set. His skill set is his speed, and it's dropping down bunts, and it's keeping the ball on the ground, and it's going the other way. And he's been trying to lay down more bunts, even the one that he had the other day. And optically, it looks bad when you try to drop down a bunt with 2 strikes, and it misses badly. He's been striking out at about a 35% clip anyhow. So if you're going to try that, that's not the worst idea in the world for him. So it's continuing to progress there. And I would say with Jordan Walker, look, Walker's at a time where he has gotten a lot of opportunities. He's going to have to continue to show them, or he's probably going to lose some at-bats, especially with the way that Alec Burleson has been going about it. Lars Nootbaar is plugged in. He's going to be playing every day. They know they need his bat. He's shown it at this level. So it is important. It is important to get top-to-bottom production from this outfield. And, no, Doug, you're absolutely right. Going to need more from the group at large.
Yeah, you can't have guys hitting 210, and Barrio got a start yesterday. He's hitting 138. You just need more than that from your outfield. You just do. But
yeah, there's no question. Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to find it. There really isn't anybody in the minors heating up, is there?
No, I mean, you have some guys that are doing good things. I know Church got called up to AAA, and he's been really good, and they loved Koperniak all spring long. He was a guy that they enjoyed. But, no, there's nobody beating down the door right now, and this is where it comes to that Cardinals are in that little middle point right now where it is, yes, they're trying to win, while, yes, they're also trying to develop some of their young players. And this is a push here in the next couple of weeks, as we talked about last week. I mean, the trade deadline is going to be on us before we know it. And these guys, their job and their goal is to make it as hard of a decision as they possibly can on the front office to see what they're going to add, and or if they ultimately end up subtracting from this ball club, or maybe somewhere in the middle. But a lot of the young guys, what they do during this stretch is going to have a lot to do with it. I think that you are going to succeed or fail with the group that you have here. I don't think that there's anybody that's going to be coming out to save the day for you. So the opportunity is going to be out there for these young outfielders, and we'll see, Doug, what they end up doing with it.
Brad Thompson with us here on TMA. Talk of McGreevy getting a start tomorrow, and the Cardinal rotation for this series. Both teams kind of playing coy with who is going to get the ball. We saw Mikolas throw yesterday. He encouraged the fans to boo the Cubs, by the way, following the game, and he pitched pretty well himself. Your expectation for the rotation here, both with the Cardinals, and then I guess we'll see Imanaga come off the IL tomorrow as well.
Yeah, well, for the Cubs, that's a huge boost. Like you mentioned, they've been kind of piecing together their pitching. They've done a good enough job with their offense to stay in a lot of games. By the way, they've done a very good job. You played the schedule that you have. They've had a pretty light schedule to this point. This is now the point of their schedule where they start to get tested. So we'll kind of see how that ends up looking. For the Cardinals, I love the idea with all the games in such a short time. They don't have another off day until July 3rd, as you guys know, of going back to that six-man rotation. I think that for the most part, when you look at the numbers that this Cardinals pitching staff, starting staff, has put together, I would say that they've exceeded expectations to this point. This has been a group that does not have a ton of swing and miss. Matthew Liberatore today has a bit of it. Sonny Gray's got a bit of it, but in large part, I mean, they are a pitch-to-contact staff. They've done a good job of limiting the opposition's offense. So I love the fact that McGreevy's going to get the nod in Game 2 here against the Cubbies. He'll be on the ground a ton. He's done nothing but earn a job seemingly every single time he's been out there. And then they'll just jump right back into their normal rotation and giving you a chance every fifth day. There's not a guy that starts, and I know that early in the season for many Cardinal fans, that was Mikolas, right? When he starts, like, oh, here we go. He had the one clunker in Boston, and then pretty much after that is giving you a chance. They don't have one guy right now where you look at and say, oh, it's going to be a rough one. I think they've done a good job, and it's credit to each one of those guys, and credit to Dusty Blake and Dean Kekeffer and this pitching staff to maximize what they've got out of their group.
I thought it was encouraging Saturday when Helsley came in and blew away the Reds in the inning that he worked, because he'd had some rough outings before that. He looked like his old self, though, didn't he?
Yeah, well, what a difference, right? Because you guys, every single game last year when Helsley would trot out of the bullpen, you're like, over, O-V-E-R, we're done. You almost didn't have to watch it. As of late, you're like, okay, well, let's see this one through, or what's going to happen. Like, those feelings end up creeping in. I don't care how dominant you've been in the past when you've had a couple of rocky ones in a row. You're right. Look, his fastball played really well. His breaking ball, he buried it. I think that this is a guy in Helsley who, you look at some of the struggles, if you will, that he's had this year, his stuff is still pretty much the same. I was actually talking to some people in the pitching department the other day that says fastball, technically, when you're looking at the numbers, actually plays better than it did a year ago. But the results, I mean, when I say plays metrically, the ride that he's getting on his fastball has actually been better, but the results have not been there to the level they were a year ago. There's volatility when it comes to a bullpen. But something that the Cardinals cannot handle going through a stretch right now, and certainly can't handle in a 4-game set against the division-leading Cubs, is volatility in the ninth inning, right? He's going to have to lock it down. He's going to have to answer the bell, and I look forward to that because I know that he gets up for games like this too, series like this, and obviously he's frustrated with the numbers, but if he feels good, that's all that matters to me, and by all accounts, he feels great.
Hopefully we see him a lot over the next 4 days. That means the Cardinals are in a really good position in this important series that starts this evening against the Chicago Cubs. Brad Thompson will be on the call this week as the Cardinals try to cut the Cubs' lead down from 4.5 over the next 4 days. Brad Thompson with us every Monday here on TMA, joining us on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. Enjoy the festivities at the ballpark, Brad.
All right, gentlemen, I will talk to you next week. I'm going to go chase around a 7-foot bird.
Yeah, so he's got to chase
Should
that
be easy
bird
to
around.
find.
Yeah, Fred Bird. Thanks, Brad.
All right, see you guys.
That's Brad Thompson with us here on 101 ESPN. Cardinals and Cubs this evening at Busch Stadium. Doug, first pitch temperature 91 degrees is what the forecast
That's
says.
not horrible. 91, we ought to be able to handle that here.
Wind gusts up to 16 miles an hour.
That could help.
Yeah. Gentle hawk caressing the ball as it sails o'er the left field wall.
Don't say or.
I mean, what else would it be doing?
Over.
Nah.
I mean, 91's not horrible, is it? That's doable.
Well, you and I are pro-warm temperatures.
Yeah.
Now, when you're pro-warm temperatures, you also have to own the super hot temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
I'll
you
take
do.
this over the super... Well, I do. I'll take this over the super cold.
Oh, yeah, any day. Any day.
And that's why real estate in the Sun Belt is soaring.
Mm-hmm.
The Arctic Circle real estate, however, there's plenty of supply if you're interested.
Well, what you can do here when it gets hot is turn on the air conditioner. And if you turn it on and it's not working, you know who to call. That would be Design Air
That's right.
Heating
That's
and Cooling. Heating should not be a guessing game. If you're sitting there sweating on the dog days of June, you've just called Design Air Heating and Cooling. They've been in business since 1904, which means they've been fixing air conditioning since before it was even a thing. Seth Goldkamp is the guy in charge. He runs a tight, trustworthy ship. No gimmicks with him, no upsells. They will never try to sell you something you don't need to fix your units. Design Air is also the longest-running sponsor on TMA, which basically means they've got the HVAC street cred and the loyalty badge. Head to designairservice.com, schedule your service, and breathe easy. Design Air, been doing it right for more than 100 years. Thank you, Seth and the Design Air team, the home of the handsome repairman.
Yeah, beautiful repairman. Send your emails in for that Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, which comes your way very soon in a matter of moments here on TMA. Then BK and Ferrario at the top of the hour. The program is called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
This is Chairman Kurt with another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals sit 4.5 games back in the NL Central. Get a chance to make up a little ground with a 4-game set against the Cubs. That starts tonight. First pitch is at 6:45. Matthew Liberatore on the mound. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Is this Please Don't Go Girl by New Kids on the Block?
I don't know who it's by.
It is.
That's Joey McIntyre right there with the higher. Then take a listen to this part right here, Doug.
Okay.
Who is that hitting that note?
Joey McIntyre.
That sounds like a lady.
Who's your favorite New Kid on the Block, Doug?
I don't know any of them. Joey McIntyre, I guess.
He's up there.
That's the only one I know.
Jordan Knight?
I don't know.
Donnie Wahlberg.
I don't know.
Danny Wood.
I love you.
I just wasn't listening to this when I was 40-something years old.
What were you listening to?
Real music.
Bow!
How about that? Glowworm, Mills Brothers, that kind of thing.
If you were dealing with low testosterone and you were not listening to New Kids on the Block, then that's where Mentality is going to help you out. Mentality, if you have a lack of focus or mental clarity, feeling anxious, moody, or irritable, weight gain, muscle loss, especially belly fat, that is where Mentality can help you out. Those are symptoms of low testosterone. Mentality is a local healthcare facility that specializes in helping men feel and perform at their very best. Board-certified physicians providing a full physical consultation and blood panel analysis all during your first visit. Mentality focuses on free testosterone levels, which many doctors overlook, ensuring your treatment is tailored to your body. It is Mentality. Be the dad who can keep up with his kids. Be the husband your spouse knows you can be. All you got to do is go to mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. My Michelob Ultra has gone warm, and I'm wondering why. I got out of bed at all to listen to this show. Hey, Tim, you know that song Phil Collins sung in the air tonight about that guy who could have saved that other guy from drowning but didn't, and then Phil saw it all, and at a show he found him? That's kind of how this is, Tim. You could have saved me from drowning, but you let these emails sink while you let Jake Reynolds with a beanie on say, golly gee willikers, guys, what a great show. Not only filter through, but win. I love you, Tim. You could have had my wife. Think about it. You ruined it now, and I hope you get little REM sleep and you dream about it. I hope when you dream you can't sleep each time Henshin filters through with free perk and you scream about it. You see, Tim? Shut up! I'm trying to talk. That's just that Asian intern screaming in a trunk. See, I just didn't read the free perk emails or kiss ass like Reynolds. I just put them in the junk folder where they belong. Well, gotta go. I'm almost at the bridge now. Oh, wait. How's it supposed to get past KG's filter? Doug, that's some Marlin's Family Barbecue.
My word.
Set from Stan's 1976 Monte Carlo passenger seat.
Marlin's Family Barbecue.
Hard to believe Stan is 22 years old. Is that right?
From 98 Degrees?
No. The song Stan, which that, of course, was a parody of.
I just don't know. I just don't. I wish I did. I could help you if I did, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2003 to get me 2000, but I guess 2001's alive, so I'm going to say 2002 to get me 2001 and 2003.
2000.
Not possible.
Yeah, the internet's probably wrong.
Thank you.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
That email was a total ripoff of Eminem's Stan.
Oh, thank you. Jackasses.
Oh! Would you like me to suspend it?
Who was it, Tim?
618.
Marlin's Family Barbecue.
Oh, the email was Marlin's Family Barbecue.
Yeah, suspend the texter.
Oh.
618, Doug.
Oh, the 618? I'll tell you what, smart guy. You've been suspended a period of 2 days' time. No, I don't expect it does feel very good. It's not supposed to. It's intended to be punitive, and that it is. 2 days' time, you're no longer eligible to take part in this show.
As someone who's about to get married, I've heard the phrase, what's mine is yours, multiple times in recent months. Well, I guess my fiance will be inheriting my hemorrhoids and bum left testicle. We have a preacher booked, but I would cancel if Doug, would be interested in officiating. Think about it. That's from Joey Vitale's face tongue. Is that something? Are you starting a little side hustle?
No, I'm good. Joey Vitale's face dong.
I think a new fun bit would be to evaluate your effort and give yourselves a grade at the end of each show. A superb broadcast would deserve an A+, so we can immediately rule that out since it's completely unrealistic. B+ would be if Jackson could go one single segment without mentioning how much he likes to massage his mom's feet. C-, which is, if we're being honest, your probable ceiling, could be reserved for days when Chairman Kurt doesn't openly drool over Tommy Fleetwood's hair on social media. Days like today, when a sponsor comes in to talk about Iranian military propaganda on his Twitter feed, while one of the hosts doesn't even have a working microphone. You obviously deserve an F.
Oh.
Another host inexplicably vanishes at the end of every show and is replaced by a dude who has shared custody of a dog, for crying out loud. Although I do have to hand it to you guys, it's actually kind of impressive to talk on the radio for 4 consecutive hours without being even slightly entertaining. Now, look me in the eye and explain why Hanson isn't the best boy band. Isaac, Taylor, and Zach would run circles around New Edition, and I bet they'd still find time to upload a damn podcast.
Oh, no.
That's from the JV golf coach.
JV golf coach.
There's just so much incorrect about that, especially the New Edition Hanson thing.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Podcast will be up shortly.
What's up, kids? Been busy as the dickens lately and haven't had the hashtag bandwidth to email in, but I'm still here monitoring the program for your ongoing Rafael Devers coverage and to chime in anytime Martin requests audio of short-lived brokered radio show hosted by a gentleman who doesn't think you have the balls to answer whether or not you think Jeff Fisher should come back or not. Make sure Libby Jack approves Martin's request to join the fan page so Martin can hear the clip of Rich from Maryland Heights talking about the Bible's definition of fornication and about how bullish he is on the Rams with their first-round pick, Trayvon Austin. This email is sponsored by the St. Louis Cardinals. If you're sitting around in an air-conditioned room with nothing to do and would like to sweat your balls off and play Frogger with the stolen cars whizzing through downtown, head on down to Busch Stadium. Ours is the type of presentation where a geriatric blind man from the sweaty taint of Jefferson County feels free to drop in at any time and sit on hold for days on end in order to raise his objections to an email that was sent in 11 days earlier. It's all in good fun, Pestis. Peace and love to the ladies and gentlemen Hoosiers down I-55 way. Congrats to Plowsy and Madison, and cheers to Doug for officiating their wedding. It's about time someone made an honest man out of our Cheeto butt play prince. That's from Buck Swope, DBA, the Recess Ladies Breast. And that's what we have.
Buck Swope.
For the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Doug, the next question is what you got.
I guess I like Buck Swope the most out of that group. I'll say Buck Swope.
I liked Stan.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that was Marlon's Family Barbecue. That's where I'm going as well.
Yeah.
So Marlon's Family Barbecue has won the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Congratulations to the Marlon's Family Barbecue. Chairman Kurt, anything we need to tend to before we hand it off to Big Kid?
Might think he's won a lot of money by winning the email of the day, and if he did, he would have to pay taxes on it. And if he didn't pay taxes, he better learn the name Mark Milton. He'll take care of the godforsaken tax man for you. If you have years of unfiled tax returns or tax liens, bank levies, or wage garnishments keeping you up at night, or maybe even worse, you could be facing IRS criminal investigation. If so, contact STL Tax Lawyer Mark Milton at stltaxlawyer.com. Mark Milton and stltaxlawyer.com provide a local and holistic approach to tax resolution. So don't be sucked into the out-of-town tax resolution groups you hear about on TV and radio. Mark lives right here in the St. Louis area. He helps individuals and small businesses solve their tax issues. So if you've got any kind of IRS problems at all, contact Mark Milton at stltaxlawyer.com today, and you'll be saying, I'm not guilty, I'm with Milty. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising. advertisements.
There it is. Mark Milton, longtime TMA sponsor. You can always go back and podcast via the Schaefer Door Company podcast. You can do so at tmastl.com or on the TMA app or 101 ESPN app. Both are available to be downloaded to enjoy the programs. Time for us to shut it down. For Chairman Kurt, filling in for the vacationing Jackson Burkett, for Martin Kilcoyne, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Elvin Vaughn, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN.